Welcome to the family show. We're back, guys. That's right. We're here to talk about F9, the Fast Saga. It finally came out after COVID, after a whole year away, after a few years since the last movie. We finally have it here tonight, and we are so excited to talk about it with you. And we have to get started here real quick here. So why don't we just bring on our panel, everyone that's here now. We might have one or two other people stop by when they're able to get home. So first off, we have here John Lestrina. John.
Hello. Well, before we get started, it's only appropriate that we pay some dues to, pay for our sponsorships, advertising.
Absolutely. We're definitely sponsored by Corona.
Yep. It's a very enjoyable, tasty beverage for this enjoyable film.
150%. Gotta drink like that. Absolutely.
Just like Dom.
Next up, we got Zach. Zach.
What up, man? Hey, I'm excited to be back.
Coloring.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm pretty sure the poster had some orange in it, so I decided to do a little bit of orange. Also, just generally excited. Looking forward to reading out my 98 notes from the movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a bunch of notes as well. I had several different colors. Like, it was very colorful, the poster. I'm pretty sure none of those colors were actually in the film itself. No. And we got Knight. What up, Knight? How you doing?
Hey, so I was about to take a swig of my Corona. I'm so sorry.
Oh, look at this guy.
What's going on, guys? So good to be back. I am very excited, and this is going to be a good one. A Madhouse. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it was a bonkers movie. Like I said, we may have one or two others join us when they are able to. However, we're just gonna real quick. Let's get into some thoughts here. Let's start with you, Knight. What did you think about the movie? I know I've talked briefly with Zach and John off screen about it.
I thought it was a good ass time. Like, it was completely bonkers. This is the movie to literally take any form of logic that you have left for these films and just throw it out. Like, anything that just sensical, logical, that doesn't make sense, that shouldn't happen in real life, just gone now, because this movie was just phenomenal, so much fun, and I had a great time. Another good entry in the franchise, and I can't wait to get it popping with the other two. So let's get it. I love
Absolutely. Zach, what did you think about the movie? I know, as you said, you had 98 notes. That was from your first time viewing it?
That was the second viewing. The first time I just watched it clean through just to absorb it, experience it. And quite frankly, the experience, it's pretty incredible. It knows exactly what it is, and it does it unapologetically. Look, some people may say that's a bad thing. Other people may say, like, hey, if you're gonna fucking go for it, then go for it. And they went for it.
Agreed. 150% agreed there. John, what about you? What did you think about the movie?
This movie is awesome. It's super fun. It is the perfect film that the Fast Saga needed to get some excitement pumped into it. I mean, if you're a fan of these movies, as we are for this long, then you know what you're going to expect, and you want your mind blown. And they 100%, I think, exceeded expectations on just getting us hooked and just wowing us and surprising us. So again, I mean, if you're not along for the ride, then you're probably not going to like it, because you're going to get lost in logic. And again, come on, who really thinks logic when you think of these awesome films that are awesome, amazing?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sometimes I do want to have a Zach science segment somewhere during the show, because there are some really hilarious things that I do want to address.
We will definitely try and get to that as well. There are some things, by the way. John Lestrino, wow, what a movie. Tyler, nice to see you. And Pat, I agree, but also not as because I didn't buy any. I got Dos Equis in the fridge, but that's a different beer altogether.
We don't allow that at the cookout.
The science is legit, Will. I have to admit, the science is legit. So I think
They
what we
ran
need
the
to do
numbers.
is here
They
real
They ran the
quick.
Numbers
numbers.
don't lie.
They ran the numbers.
Yeah. So why don't we just jump into this here, because this is going to take up a pretty large chunk, I believe, of our conversation. So we do have, I'm sure some of us have some thoughts on, what's some favorite quotes that you have?
Okay,
go with you,
so I was just transcribing all of my notes. I took them on my phone before we came on air. I was writing them into a Word document so I'd have them ready for the show. And within my notes are also all of the quotes that I was jotting down. And at one point, let's see here, where did it go?
I love the timestamps.
Yeah, I've got timestamps here. So at 1 hour and 10 minutes, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea who said this quote. I think it was a background character, but it's just, what the hell, Jimmy? That's a quote that happened somewhere in this movie. And I loved it. I started cracking up when I heard that. What the hell, Jimmy?
What's the scene? Can you describe the scene?
So the scene is right when they're breaking into the place in, where are they at, Edinburgh or something? They're stealing the second half. So Jacob is like going into the vault.
One of like the security guys?
Yeah, I think it's one of the security guys. He goes, what the hell, Jimmy?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. That checks out.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I just want to pull this up here because I too had a bunch of notes here. I had 51 notes in here. One of my favorite lines. It happens to kind of tie in a bit to one of like my favorite sequences as well, but it's really the line itself because of the what's the word I'm looking for? The implication of it. Like what do they mean by that? Is when Queenie Shaw drives like crazy with Dom, and at the end, I'm looking to see where it is because I got a ton of these. Oh, don't get yourself killed. You're my favorite American. Right after that, the note I wrote was, "Damn, that sexual chemistry is palpable."
Okay, I have a note at 56 minutes. It just says Dom and Queenie want to fuck. So
that's very apparent. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, babe. Why wouldn't you? Come on now.
You look at those two together, and the way that like Queenie took control, Dom would be the sub in that scenario. But I think like absolutely she is just like.
But Dom is the sub with Letty also, so I mean it makes sense.
It's hard.
John, do you have any? John Lustrina, do you have any quotes?
There's one. There's a. I mean, first of all, Jack Toretto in this film, like, I mean, he is just a fountain, a beacon of just everything he says is gold. I mean, understand that's where Dom got his, obviously, all his great one-liners and all his wisdom. But I love, like, in the beginning, in the flashback scene in the beginning, the work of the, in the pit, and then he's like, "Stop being the stronger man, Dom. Stop being the bigger one." It's like, boom, there you go. That's a great quote. That's a great quote. And also another, just a big run through with it all when Dom keeps saying, "I'll always be in your heart." And I mean, come on, right there. I mean, right there, man. That just hits you really, really good. But again, I got like 3 pages of notes, just quotes.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of my notes are just quotes.
Yeah, I over half of my notes are quotes. Knight, you go before I just accidentally say out loud this quote that as I'm reading it makes me want to giggle. So go on. Go if you remember any quotes of yours that you liked that you remember.
Not as many because, like I said, I completely just went in it just like without any like fucking notes. But one I do, and it kind of sums up, because family is like the core of all these movies. Was Jacob saying like, your shit is all about family. Like you don't turn your back on family, but you turned your back on me. Like. That I love. It's just like, damn, because like that's right. These films are riding off family, and here you have yours, and you was like, bruh, you gotta go. Like, I can't no more. So it's like, I really liked that quote. That hit a lot.
To take it away from a serious quote, is that a Pontiac Fiero strapped to a rocket engine? Impressive, I know. No, that's not impressive.
Yeah. Impressive, I know, was definitely one of my favorite quotes.
Hey,
just because like the look on his face when he says it, and he's like, He's so proud of
not
himself.
only that, like right before that, when it's like Twinkie, so you must be Ding Dong and Snowball, and then Bow Wow, who definitely did not look like he aged very well. I don't go by that name anymore. And then Tyrese just goes, "You went by that name ever?" Like it's so much funnier because you know that like Tyrese is just like a mess, and like as a person, it's so easy to mock him, and it's like also, but to hear him mock someone else, very funny.
I love their faces when they say Dominic Toretto sent us, and then everything just just turned just straight. So like,
then they go, "Who's Dominic Toretto?"
Yeah.
Clearly, he didn't get the invite to meet him when they met up in Tokyo.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Right.
there,
Yeah.
so
He wasn't there yet.
But oh well.
How about this, Zach? There was a callback to a classic Roman quote when he was eating, and then
Yes, I
and
have
Tej
that.
turned
He
on
said-
the magnet. I'm hungry.
Well, and then later on, at the end of the movie, Rome says, "My forehead's hungry," and Tej says, "Your forehead's overweight."
I'm ready to eat now. I've been eating space food for weeks.
Right.
Tootsie Roll space food. They're fat free.
One of the most ludicrous comments, and it's funny I say ludicrous, but it wasn't actually a ludicrous comment. One of the most ridiculous comments or quotes is, of course, in the spoiler alert for those watching this spoiler-filled show.
Right.
When they reveal how Han survived. Just the line, Mr. Nobody has a talent for making things look real. Right after that, I wrote, okay, ... And
I wrote, who was
like,
driving the fucking car? He was driving the car. We know
it was
that.
some hologram type shit, I believe, or something, because
But
Han watched the car blow
you
up.
believe? Well, they're not gonna do anything.
They
to
were
try to
all
tell you
there
what
talking to
actually
DK.
happened.
They get in the cars and they drive away. We saw
Yeah.
this happen.
Maybe
Does
it was a
Oh,
robot.
so crazy.
Does he get punched, or doesn't he get punched by DK? Or he punches DK too? Isn't
Yeah,
there some physical
it's like,
contact?
there's a physical interaction there. I do have a couple from Rome. I didn't think Rome and Tej were as good in this movie as they have been in some of the past ones, but Rome did have some good
I thought
quotes.
they were great. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The time what when Tej literally says the lines, "As long as we obey the laws, we'll be fine."
Yes.
This movie knows not only exactly what it's trying to be, it knows what's expected of it, and is like, let's openly mock ourselves as we make the movie.
Like the whole
Yeah.
Invincible conversation was great.
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe
or
we are
maybe
invincible.
you just a
Maybe
dumbass.
you're a dumb.
Yeah. But Rome has one quote where they're driving through like the landmines. They're kind of like past the landmines, but he kind of like T-bones another car, and he just yells, "Always check your mirrors, bitches."
Oh,
That was fun. And then also when they get to the base, the sort of Mr. Nobody's base, he says, "If a Ninja Turtle pops out on me, I'm out."
That one got me good. That one got me good.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh, what was I just going to say? What's funny about like if we always trust the science, though, so much about the science in this movie is just nonsensical. But when they're driving through the landmines and they're like, "Tej, how fast do we need to be going?" And he's like, "Assuming a 50-foot blast radius and a half-second trigger timing, about 80 miles per hour."
80.
That's actually like dead on. That's 117 feet per second, so roughly 58 feet per half second. So you're 8 feet out of the blast radius if you're driving 80 miles per hour. That's great. But it's like they go through the effort to like nail that.
I wasn't smart enough to try to challenge that anyway.
So
I was like, nope.
So in terms of the science, I've said this before to some people. I'll say it again. When I got home late that night, the next day, my wife asks me, "Did you like the movie?" And I didn't say yes or no. I described to her the sequence of the truck driving across the bridge as it's falling.
Okay.
Because
If you're going to bring that up, I want to just touch on This is one of my few things
It's
about
the dumbest fucking thing ever. It's
I know.
there's nothing supporting it.
Okay, look. So this is the Newton's third law, and it comes up over and over in this movie. You know, if you're not familiar with Newton's laws of motion, Newton's third law is every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? If I push against something, it pushes back against me with an equal amount of force. So that's the first egregious instance of it, because friction relies on force. Your car drives based on friction. If the bridge can't push against your wheels can't push against the bridge. You can't generate any friction. You can't drive on a bridge that's falling. That's basically it. But also, all throughout the movie, when they're using the magnets and they're just whipping cars around,
so awesome.
It should be pulling their car too, right?
Yes.
So, like, when you make a giant truck do a backflip off of you, that would crush your car into the ground.
There are certain metal
if you yank a car across a city block, you're getting pulled. You're like meeting them halfway. You're not just gonna pull it one direction. But that was like one thing where it's just over and over. These are one way magnets. Which brings me to my other thing. They only worked on
one direction stuff. They had Harry Styles on as a consultant.
Yes, exactly. But the other thing that cracked me up about the magnets is, so magnets, right? If you put the north pole of one magnet and the south pole of another magnets, they attract to one another. If you flip them over, you put north to north, they repel each other, right? So clearly somebody was thinking about that when they made this, because they have the little dials to attract and repel. The problem is a magnet does not repel steel or ferrous metals, regardless of its orientation. So you can't just invert a magnet and make it shoot a steel vehicle away from you. If you change the polarity of the magnet, it still pulls it towards you, which again I thought was just funny, because it's like, that doesn't work. You can't shoot a car off by inverting the magnet.
Well, listen, I'm not convinced those cars were metal anyway, because John Cena was bouncing off them like a soccer ball, and like nothing was happening. So it doesn't even. I'm not convinced they're metal.
Like let's remember, guys, there was a fucking that in Fast and Furious 6, we learned that cars can just catch people. In this movie, we learned multiple cars can catch multiple people.
Yeah, I made sure to note all of those instances. Yep.
Yes.
By the way, we actually got Streamlabs, guys. If anyone wants to donate to Streamlabs, we do have a Streamlabs link. It's pinned in the chat. Streamlabs.com/Schmoe, me the money/tip there. Just the tip. And so what you have here, it's from Cutter Hale. Thank you so much, Cutter.
Hey.
Sup, guys. F9 was a lot of fun. I'm actually at third tomorrow. Shaw is screwed. Wanted to drop an F-bomb, but don't know what language is allowed. LOL. You could say fucked. It's fine.
Fuck.
My uncle has a theory that the fam has the tech from Hobbs and Shaw in them.
Hey, maybe.
They were the original subjects. They were the test. They just took their blood and made, Brexton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are proto Brixtons, but obviously they don't have anyone controlling them.
Right.
That's a good theory. What I want to figure out is the theories behind what the fuck happened to Mr. Nobody.
Because right. There's no resolution to that
at all.
Nope, none. Like I get it. Like there's no resolution to that, or like Cypher's out in the wind again, and just kind of like floating around.
Clearly, she's a series villain.
Yeah. She's like the big. In fact, today they announced they're developing a spin-off film just about Cypher with Vin Diesel producing. So hopefully it'll feel a little more connected than Hobbs and Shaw felt in that regard, because Vin Diesel was not connected. Was not in that film. Right. But let me see here. There's some other great quotes, such as did Roman,
speaking of Cypher though,
film?
Say what?
I was gonna say, did Roman ever say in a previous film the phrase "my ass is in fuego"? Because he definitely said it here, and I thought he said it
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, they brought it back.
He says "en fuego." He doesn't say "my ass is in fuego."
Yeah, they bring back "en fuego," but in the Furious, Fast and Furious 6 with the tanks behind him, there's a tank on my ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what? I did write the quote. Always check your mirrors, bitches.
Yeah.
Nice.
Otto had some great quotes to Cypher, or like right before Cypher, where he's like, I want 50 men, guns, cars, X-Wings, the Millennium Falcon, Chewbacca if you can get him. There was a little stretch there with Otto, lots of Star Wars references.
Oh yeah, you're like Yoda.
Where he's like, I'm the hero. Me, I'm Luke Skywalker. And she's like, no, you're like Yoda. No, he says I'm like Han Solo. She says, no, you're Yoda.
Yeah, you're not the hero type.
It's
With
like,
a hand
because
up
I'm a
his
very
ass.
powerful Jedi. Yeah, you're a puppet with a
She's
hand.
like, no, because there's a puppet with a hand up your ass.
Yeah, he also says this other ridiculous thing, Otto, when he's, I guess, in the big truck, in the extended final sequence there, and he says, if we don't get them high enough, maybe it was it him that said it? Someone said this. I didn't write who wrote it. If we don't get them high enough, these guys are going to be pancakes at IHOP before the plates even hit the table.
No, that's the other rocket car dude, Sean's buddy. What's his name? I can never remember his name.
The
one that says impressive. I know. Yeah. It's the same guy. It's the same guy. He's
the one who's not Bow Wow.
Correct.
Right. What is Marty McFly vest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a bunch of great lines. I'm gonna be honest.
He did.
Hold on. Speaking of Otto, since we were just talking about Otto, I have a question. Otto and Jacob, are they a couple? Because at one point Otto says he's my partner, which, it sounds just kind of like the way he says it sounds like partner, not just like, oh yeah, Earl, thank you, Cutter Hale. And then later when they say they're going to Edinburgh, he's like, hey, maybe we could do some sightseeing while we're there. And he just seems to really like him, like more than a friend. That was the vibe I got. That was the vibe I got from them.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can. I feel like we can continue to field quotes all day.
Well, I think they were just business partners because towards when he turns on Jacob, he says, "I have a new business partner."
Well, yeah, he's a traitor, obviously, but maybe it's just a rough breakup.
No, I think he just was really impressed with Jacob's one because he comes from money, but he clearly didn't seem to have friends. His friends come probably with money because his dad's powerful.
Guys, have we said any Dom quotes?
You don't deserve the Toretto name.
I mean,
I will stop you, and that's my promise.
I mean, I got a bunch of. I mean, I got to throw out this real quick. Another one from Jack Toretto, and like one of the flashback scenes when the final flash when Dom realizes what really happened, and he's like, "It's like a family, Dom. If you take care of it, it'll live beyond you."
Oh, wait, hold on. I had some note about that because he says, this car, it's immortal. If you take care of it, it'll last 100 years. And I was like, wait a second. Immortal and 100 years are not the same thing.
And also, we of course need the great callback to the original film. Someone once gave me a 10-second car as a second chance. I owe you that.
What about this?
That's
This is Mission Control. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Is that a Pontiac Fiero? Those minions?
Yeah.
Like,
Minions.
Worst case, we blow up like balloons.
Yeah. I as soon as they said Minions, I'm like, they designed those outfits because Universal owns Minions. God damn it. They did it just to make that joke.
Got to tie around. Full circle.
Oh, two dudes from the ghetto, outer space.
No one's gonna believe this.
Oh yeah, in here always. That like Dom before he sacrificed himself. That's what he said, right? In here always, something like that.
Yeah.
After he
hold down that building,
he hulked the hell out with CGI replacement Vin Diesel. Every once in a while, I was like, oh my god.
How about this Roman quote? We just up here putting a bunch of duct tape on shit. That's what Tej do.
Oh. Hold on, I do have another one. Sorry. There's a callback. I actually have two more. There's a callback where Dom is racing Jacob, and Jacob hits the NOS, and Dom goes, too soon. And I was like, please say Junior, but he didn't say Junior because that would make him Johnny Tran if he said too soon, Junior.
Absolutely,
so I guess he can't say it, but
I love the whole scene right there. If we could talk about that real quick. Well, do your quote and then sorry.
Yeah, and then my only other quote, because I love all the techno jargon that happens with Tej and Ramsey. And at one point, Ramsey is talking about how to like break into the Ares program or something. And she just finishes by saying, and boom, I pop a root shell, and then she hits enter. And a root shell is just like a command prompt. It's like nothing. It's an interface. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. And I loved it. It was perfect.
Here's another quote. When they went to go actually steal the truck with the magnet in it in Edinburgh, and Roman just decides to just not do whatever their plan was, and he just runs up. Hey man, I ordered a pair of Crocs 3 weeks ago, and he decks him and just yells, "Where's my shoes?"
I do love the commitment to the bit, even after he's already punched him in the head. It's like the bit doesn't matter anymore, Rome.
How much you pay for that necklace?
Oh yeah, I had that one. You know, silver is magnetic, right?
Right.
Yeah,
that was funny. That was very impressive.
Oh, I did make a note. 50 minutes before the first Corona is on screen.
Oh wow. Oh, and that must be based on my notes. Oh, that's when they're talking to Buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. Buddy is a fucking narc. All right. He outs Jacob within 5 minutes. He's in London,
it's to his
Dom.
brother.
That's all
and
I'm
he
going to tell you.
Shit happen.
Whatever, dude. Dom never narcs on nobody. Dom never narcs on nobody.
They just needed Rooker in the movie. So it was like, here's your point. I completely forgot he was in this shit. When he showed up in a flashback, I was like, oh shit, Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on, man?
Buddy looks great 32 years later. I'm like, man.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of people that look great years later, Stasiak came back for a scene.
Yeah,
he did.
And
I gotta stop doing favors.
That was some great makeup they put on for his broken nose that he got from Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
By the way, we have someone else joining us here. How you doing?
Well.
What it do?
Well. Sorry I'm late, guys. I thought I lost my
it.
dog for 20 minutes. She's here.
No worries.
Where are we in this movie, man?
We're still talking about quotes.
Yeah, so what we like to do, we like to talk. We try to have a structure to it with like your favorite quotes. If there was a car that was your favorite, what's your favorite sequence? Who's the MVP of the movie? And so we front load it with quotes because we like to just say a lot of the quotes.
I've got it. Yeah.
And a handful of us went to the movie, and we also took notes in the movie theater about things that we like about it. So,
what do you guys got for quotes so far? Because I bet I have one to top them all.
We have 25
Showed you mercy
so far.
Oh,
mine is the water heater's broken. That's the price you got to pay for peace and quiet. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Literally out the gate, this movie makes no sense to me, and that was the only problem I had with the film.
Out of everything, the water heater, I love it.
But what the water heater has to do with the peace and quiet, or why he would have a cell phone?
Right.
You know.
Got to be off the grid.
Gotta be off the grid.
Nothing.
You got yourself a basement that like you can put a child into, but you don't have like a basic security system when you're like a billionaire with government money.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that was definitely a
bit.
question for me. They don't know how to anticipate other people coming to see them because they don't have phones. And then they come and they just, I guess, they have the money to be able to travel internationally without having to pass through any any government entity. I guess because like Mr. Nobody, they made it very clear he did not send that message to anyone else. So no one else knows that they're leaving the country. No one knows that they have this giant stockade.
Yeah. No, when they're like, we're going to go get him. I'm like, what do you mean? Like when Tej and them are like, we're going to go get him. I'm like, you're driving a fucking rental Jeep. I'm sorry for cursing, but I'm like, what are you, with what?
Right.
I know last time we saw Tyrese, he was like on a plane, but like they ain't driving up in like a whole Fort Knox situation. I don't know.
We talked about a lot of things. A lot of them are stuff that are like Roman quotes that we love. When he ran up to the truck that had the magnet in there, and he said, "Hey, I ordered a pair of Crocs 3 weeks ago." He decks the guy, and then he yells at him on the ground, "Where are my shoes?"
I forgot about that. I thought you were going to talk about the quote where Roman just like straight out calls this movie what it is, and there's that army of the dead moment where you're like, oh, is this about to turn into another movie where we find out they're superheroes and they can't die and this is invincible?
They are superheroes, though.
The invincible speech.
They floated it.
Yeah, they floated the idea, which is great because then for a moment it looked like Tej was taking it very seriously.
Right. And Ramsey's
Well,
like, "Are
has
you
anyone
serious?"
died? I mean, I know Giselle
Well,
died, but like
Giselle, yeah.
Giselle
Vince
and
died.
the other
Giselle-
wife.
Jesse.
So
Giselle
far,
TBD.
Jesse dies
Giselle
in the
is
first
Giselle
one.
is dead until proven otherwise.
right?
But Vince is definitely
Who
dead.
knows?
Jesse's definitely
Vince,
dead.
Jesse.
Leon is presumed dead.
I
I
mean,
mean, where else would
even
Leon
Brian
be?
died in
Raja's
real life
still
and he
alive
can't die.
somewhere.
Yeah. Okay,
Brian
guys,
died
can
in
I
real life and he
can
can't
I give
die.
another quote? I just found one in my notes.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's from Buddy. He says, "The worst thing you can do to a Toretto is take away their family." All right, this guy understands the Fast and Furious
Yes.
franchise.
It's sort of,
Buddy,
except that this
Buddy,
guy,
Buddy knows.
except that Dom apparently just like disowned his half brother over like a misunderstanding. So,
Right.
Yeah,
Clearly.
you know.
He's like,
didn't
one
clearly
race,
didn't even
a
like
win,
bother to talk to
keep
him.
going. You don't look back.
Because he
It's
didn't
like, I
even
know
bother
what-
to have
I
a
know what
conversation.
you
about
did.
what
Well,
the
I mean,
situation
they were going to
was.
settle on the racetrack, and Dom won.
I love that.
Guys,
they
there's
settled
one
it
way
on
to
a
settle
race.
this. It's race wars. That's the only way.
Again, can I just point out how amazing that scene is? Just seeing throwback versions of Vince, Hector, Jesse, all of them,
Mhm.
like in this, it was amazing. I was like, "Holy shit, it's all of them!" I love
Yeah.
seeing
Well,
that.
Jacob
and,
is a
uh,
foot shorter than Dom, also.
Well, the brother's played by the
That's so
Peaky
fun.
Blinders dude. Like, I think I recognize him from, Peaky Blinders. But I couldn't remember the name of the dad, and I was like, oh, wait, it's the name of, like, Brian and Mia's kid, right? It's like Jack.
Jack.
Yeah. I don't know. I know too much about this extended family because I don't even know, like, my nephew's name.
Yeah, it's insane. I love how Mia was. At least I don't remember. Like, was nowhere in the flashbacks ever. But then, like, in
She was in the
time, it's just
flashback
like,
when they
hey.
did the race when he came back. And
Yeah,
I
I
think she was
had a
in
note
the
about
police station.
that. I had a question if that was supposed to be Letty and Mia. In
I
that
thought it was.
flashback.
I thought
wasn't
Letty
sure if it
was the one.
I'm pretty sure. 'cause
I'm pretty sure Letty
Vince
had the
was
cargo
Vince there,
pants.
so.
Yeah, Letty was a cargo
Um,
pants.
Camo pants. Yeah.
I
The
thought
camera was
there was
ready.
like a scene of her like running maybe in the station or running up to him or something. Doesn't she tell him to go? Isn't she like after he loses? Oh no, right, not then.
No, because he just.
I
he
thought
just-
she comes to his window at some point. But here's the
No.
thing, like I thought there was gonna be so many more reveals that I think they're maybe just saving for the next movie. You don't put like Michael Rooker in this film just to have him like have one scene. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You do the format. You do you.
He'll come back. I'm sure.
Yeah, lots
they
of
were.
people will probably come back in some regard. The thing is, though, the Fast and Furious series is this series now where it's like famous people are like, "I love this series. Can you just throw me in?" Because like
Oh, yeah,
that's
they
how we
come
got Helen. That's how we got Helen Mirren with the out of
Charlize
any movie
Theron.
ever, as I brought up earlier. Out of any movie that Vin Diesel has ever been in, his scene with Helen Mirren has the most sexual chemistry he's had with any other actress in his entire
I
career.
so heartily agree. I didn't really put my finger on it, but you're right. That's exactly what it is. They have more
he
sexual
did.
chemistry than he's ever had in a movie before.
What's so much funnier about it, and I believe it was
Hit that
brought
shit
Damn.
up
for me, darling.
John, when we were on Matt Thomas's Real Talk review. Matt might be able to make it here as well. When she says, "Don't die, you're my favorite American," that includes the fact that there is an American literally fucking her daughter as well. Like,
Oh yeah, well she hates him. She's a Pacific Islander. I mean, do you usually like those people? The people, I mean, people fucking your daughter, not the Pacific Islanders. I mean,
Well, I was like, where are we going?
I was like,
no,
wait,
I
this
meant
is
you are
a weird
fans of
turn.
people that fuck
Right,
your
I was
daughter.
like, oh my god.
Okay.
No, that's what I meant. All
I
right,
was so
very
stuck.
clearly.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
no.
god.
Can we talk about how we I don't know what
shit,
the deal
Vinny
was.
D's canceled. Anyways,
It feels like I'm already canceled. I feel like they ran out of places to take their foreign exchange program. Like showing up in Edinburgh for half the season or half the movie is like, oh, what a letdown that must be. Like it's like getting stuck with the weird exchange student. Like you don't want to go to Edinburgh after you've been to like all of the Rio de Janeiro and
Yeah, but, like-
Dubai and what the hell's going on
but
in
think about
Edinburgh?
it.
Like,
Where else are they going to be able to fit the world's longest zip line?
anywhere
Yeah.
else in the world than Edinburgh?
That was
5 straight
The
minutes of
Amazon
ziplining.
jungle. New
It
York.
was
City.
straight
one arm,
I don't know.
just going, one
They
arm.
did have
chilling.
the Amazon jungle. They had Montecinto.
Yeah.
They already
I'm just
did
saying,
that.
like Edinburgh. Like, were they going to Fringe Festival? Like, what's going on there?
Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
I thought that was
People
very
think this is
funny.
more
They
of a
just says
fire
it.
festival. Yeah.
It's kind of like this thing where it's like there's no way there's like that many streets. It's like I could see them doing Florence. They haven't really done Italy yet, right? Like Florence is a place where there's only street traffic, but there are roads, but you're not allowed to drive them. That would have been dope. Edinburgh just seems like it's pedestrian, but there's not even fun roads to drive.
Well, there was.
By the way,
Italian
since we're just
job.
talking about scenes and stuff now, why don't we?
That's canon.
I'll bring up the next one here. We'll just go into this. When we talk about best stunt, it's more like best sequence. Like, what's your favorite sequence of it? Because like I had a note in here about that final sequence where they're trying to take down the big truck that actually has Ares in it. And it reminded me of Fast and Furious 6 because the note that I had is this road is so damn long.
It's funny. It reminded me of Fast 5 because I was like, the physics of it are like Looney Tune physics, but I'm like so here for it. Like
Zach did the math.
It's like
Zach
the Rio
did
de
the
Janeiro
actual
bank
math.
thing.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
run-
the
runway.
bank vault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 Mile runway, I think, is what we came up with.
To me,
Zach's
it was
done the
way
math
more
for
reminiscent of the
Fast
bank
6.
vault going through the streets, whereas like going through the buildings, and you're like, that's not how physics or like logic or people work. Like they must have killed hundreds, if not
Zach
thousands
did the
of people.
actual, you missed it in here. Zach did actual math and physics, or physics discussion, basic physics for this film, and what works and what doesn't in it based on things that they said.
Is the answer
He's an
nothing?
engineer. These are things that he does.
The answer is a couple things. Okay. The 80 miles per hour to avoid the landmines. Right on.
My favorite sequence, and again, this goes back to the beginning. Like I apparently can suspend my disbelief, but not until like the first 5 minutes of this film are over. Because like, did they leave their child alone? Because like letting those help with the motorcycle.
Brian is with Brian.
Brian's with them.
Yeah, Brian's watching Brian.
We don't know.
They say Brian's watching, but
that.
he definitely leaves the house without Brian there. And unless Brian took his kid over to the farm, there's no one to pick that kid up and drive him to Brian's house.
Well, yeah, I don't know what their living arrangements are, how far away they live from one another.
They don't have cell phones.
I know Letty leaves in the middle of the night to get to an 8 a.m. meetup, so I assumed it was far.
And he needs to go to an 8 a.m. meetup, and they don't have phones.
I mean, Brian and Mia previously had hid out in the Canary Islands, so maybe they're back in the Canary Islands.
That did not look like that. Looks like they're definitely in the.
I'm saying where Brian and Mia are.
Also Mia.
These are things.
Brian and Mia,
Mia came along.
These are things that drove me crazy too, because there's that, and like all the action stuff makes sense to me. Like, the one thing that I brought up, and like, yeah, they're probably gonna leave it for another movie. Just they brought up that Mr. Nobody, like he video chats in half his performance in that opening scene, and then you have no idea what happened to him.
Well,
it's
also
never
like
brought up again where he disappeared to.
I was 100% sure, so I know this must happen in the later movie, that the brother, who's a super spy, isn't a super spy like for hire. He wasn't just working for this like dipshit diplomat's kid. Like he's literally a secret. He's like a good guy who was on like a mission to be undercover as a bad guy. Like there's no way he ran away from that race thing, being a Toretto, and then was like, I'm going to be an evil. Secret agent for hire, which isn't a thing that exists. Like you were trained. They say he's a rogue like operative, but you saw his cross on the plane with Mr. Nobody. I think he's working with him along with everyone else apparently that worked with Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, he said he ran. He said he ran missions out of that same base with Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, I think that was a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Nobody.
But also, you do see Mr. Nobody again later when he's talking to Han. When Han is recapping his.
Yeah, but that's a flashback.
That's a flashback.
I just mean as far as him being in the movie.
In the movie,
that Han thing made no goddamn sense. Like at all. But I was like, fine, he's back. I'm here for it.
It doesn't matter because it's explained away by the phrase. I wrote it down and we said it.
It's one hell of a magic trick.
Now the hardest part, keeping you dead.
Yeah.
Well,
Mr. Nobody has a talent for making things look real.
Right. And then he goes off and he's like a protector now of this kid, this child, and
no, he was a protector before. So here's what's crazy about this whole Han situation. It means that Han was working as an operative, like again for Mr. Nobody. He was doing all this spy shit, like he was getting these pieces of this thing together, saving this girl, and then was also infiltrating low-level Yakuza high schoolers. To like make the events of like Too Fast.
And trimming a little money off the top from DK. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Everyone in this movie is working like on 8 different levels of like top secret government clearance. And so when he shows up at the end and he like shows up at Deckard Shaw's house, you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? I mean, what's he even going to say to him? Like, you killed my hologram. Like, I don't know. Didn't Deckard Shaw also work for Mr. Nobody? Isn't this? Yes.
Also
Okay.
went
So
rogue.
But,
Also
like-
went rogue though.
Yeah, also
Okay,
like went rogue, which
so-
is why he was like surprised when he saw that Han was still alive.
Fuck,
Which, by the way,
okay.
that
Killed him.
post-credit scene was pretty funny.
So
was.
wait. So the Toretto brother knew that there were the Shaw brothers who also work within the nobody community of extended spy things, and that never came up. Like they were never like, "Hey, we know your brother, the other guy who worked with us." They're like
Maybe they
co-
were. Maybe they kept them separate from one another. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what Mr. Nobody's doing?
Work in different territories.
Yeah, where's
Like,
his
hey,
little
Mr.
buddy?
Nobody is mysterious. Mr.
Yeah,
Nobody.
little
I'm actually
nobody.
more worried about
Where's
his friend.
little nobody?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's Little Nobody? He was great.
Yeah,
Oh,
where?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
more upsetting.
Considering how like Scott Eastwood is like, I'm never like that thrilled to see him on screen.
Right.
I was
like
disappointed
Vince.
that he didn't show up.
That's probably why I was like, yeah, well, he's done. We're fine. One and done for him.
So Michael Rooker's obviously going to be a handler. Like it's going to turn out he's either evil and like where he's like the opposite Mr. Nobody or something. Because like he definitely was like grooming. If the Toretto kid was bad, if the brother was bad, then he was like being groomed and raised by Rooker. Like absolutely.
Like this series is Mission Impossible if dumb at this point.
No,
Like, it
not
went
as
from
dumb. It's trash Mission Impossible, which is a better version. Just like Ready or Not is
not
trash
trash,
Knives
not
Out.
dumb, just purely insane.
Yeah, it's just
Let's go with that.
Yeah, it's the NASCAR
It's very much
version.
so. Insane.
I mean, Ready or Not and Knives Out are pretty different. Like they just work really
Yes.
well as a double feature about Eat the Rich.
But it's more like they have the same font, and I like calling Ready or Not the trash Knives Out. They don't really have that
Yeah.
much in common, except they share similar font and like structure of concept originally.
Yeah.
Rich people in a
Yeah,
house
no.
getting murdered.
It's
Yeah.
tough. I would enough like I've had to pick like a particular stunt like it. Like it's everything's just great in this in terms of like action, like
Magnets.
set piece. But it's like, but I
Yeah,
do love
bitch,
Dom
magnets.
surfing a fucking like semi truck on its back,
Oh
just
my God.
sliding through the streets. I love him surfing that shit, and then like just smacking a plane with it. That
This
was-
movie-
Hold on. That sequence is my favorite stunt, but a specific moment within that sequence, which
the
is
tumbling?
as he's tumbling down the hill, he throws a bomb, a grenade of some sort, to redirect the truck
Yeah.
to go down the hill a different way.
Yeah.
It's the most outrageous and incredible thing I've ever seen in a movie. Using a
most
bomb
impressive
to
thing
And
about
you're
this
direct your
landing on
movie-
his
path.
tires.
This movie's
Yes.
technical effects are amazing. Like if you watch like the drone
yeah.
shot, like they actually use the practical effects to like get them to make it look like the magnet, like the car is being thrown at the magnet. They actually use these like automated machines to go through these buildings, and like they actually just did these stunts for real. But honestly, the most impressive technical thing that they did was like making me suspend my disbelief. I totally believe that magnets work one way and not the other. Magnets are like you can aim magnets at things,
Yep.
and they only work selectively on who you want them to work on.
This was other science that you missed that Zach
Yeah.
broke down
He broke it all down.
from his engineer brain earlier on.
Oh, this must
Um,
must drive you nuts if you're an engineer.
It was fun.
Well, we also said John Cena literally bouncing on like several cars like he's a fucking soccer ball or something.
Wait,
with
I have a note there
nothing.
about that. There's
Which
a
I
note
loved.
later on that I wrote, which is, Dom crashes a car to push it to catch
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes, he bounces a car into Jacob's path in order to catch him. It's so good. But also that same sequence, the stunt that I loved was as they're driving and they're trying to stop the truck, they're pulling all the cars off of the street to get just demolished by that truck.
Yeah.
And
that's
again, I couldn't
awesome.
help but think like, I hope there's nobody in any of those cars. Like sometimes people just sit in parked cars. Like that's a thing.
I
Did
so
they
many
just,
people
did they just
died.
murder?
That's
Did they
their
just murder
problem.
20 people?
Their
So I
problem.
wrote property damage means fuck all in this universe.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wrote like
property
very
damage
early on.
lives.
These magnets are very dangerous.
You
That's what
park
I
on the street. I mean, come on. What do you expect
Yeah.
is going to happen?
Right.
You might get
It's
crushed by
Street
a
cleaners
giant
can fuck up stuff all the time.
truck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, it's
Absolutely.
complete. And talk about old dude that gets smacked in the back of the head with a fucking street sign and nothing
Does not phase him.
doesn't even move at all.
Doesn't phase him. Not only
Nothing.
does it not kill him, it doesn't knock him over. It
Nothing. He
just
doesn't even
nothing.
flinch. Just doosh, run through. Okay, here we go. Like what? And then he gets killed by getting slapped with a car. I was like, all right, heard it. Amazing.
I mean,
Which you
I
think
can't-
it should have cushioned
honestly,
his
the hardest
landing
thing to
when
believe
he
in
hit
this
that
movie
car,
is
but-
that like Dom, like of all people, Dom like threw off his brother like that. Like Dom would just be like, "You're dead to me," without like without ever having a conversation, without ever being like, "Hey, did you kill our dad?" Without any getting clarity. He just
he just ran with the anger. He just ran like he killed our dad.
His whole thing is family. He's
accepting Jeffrey
back into the fold.
I don't think
if he kills his dad, he's a traitor to the family.
Right. I don't think he was at that point of like family strong yet that we know now. I just think it was just the concept of like, yo, you killed our dad. Like, and instead of beating your ass right now, I'm gonna give you a chance. So we're about to race for this. If I win, you got to hit the bricks.
But how did they clarify that he killed the dad? All he overheard was two people in prison saying, "This is how somebody might die." Like, he never had any clarity.
Dom has the most elaborate like flashbacks and like visions through all these films. Like,
that's one of his superpowers.
About how Letty died, just the whole thing. He went through this whole shit where he wasn't even in places he wasn't even there, going through a whole flashbacks. He sees everything. That's his superpower, like he said. Just knows everything from sight.
But like, I don't see. But then he's not able to see that his dad like needed like the insurance money. Which, by the way, that was like a cool. I thought like that was like a weirdly like deep moment because I thought the reveal was going to be it was Rooker and like there's no way this guy killed his dad. He's like, no, I did it, but like dad needed me to do it for the insurance money. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, that's some real shit. That younger brother like, took on the responsibility of that family.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like they did it with the risk that it could be bad, but they were hoping it wasn't going to turn out. Oh, the way it did. Like,
yeah, that was a great. He was trying to just throw the race. Yeah,
he wanted to throw the race. That's right.
Great twist. That like, what's crazy was how like. On the one hand, it's like, oh yeah, technically it was a misunderstanding. They could have talked it out a bit. But on the other hand, like it wasn't a misunderstanding. He did end up tampering with it that caused his death. It's not a matter of just like, no, he didn't.
And Jacob
do
said
that, like touching that car would just make it explode in midair. Like that car had. That's what I'm saying. I think Michael Rooker is going to turn out to be the other bad guy because that car had other problems and it clearly wasn't the driver.
Hold on,
like it clearly wasn't what's name True Blood that was trying to kill him.
I did note 4 minutes in, the fire starts at the rear of the car. So I think you're onto something, Drew. It was not necessarily something under the hood that caused that.
And I know this movie is known from like giant explosions, but that explosion was ludicrous. Like it was like Too Fast, Too Furious ludicrous. Like, it was
You're expecting anything less?
Tej is ludicrous.
Tej is ludicrous.
Oh, sorry. I keep getting them confused, but like ludicrous is what I meant.
Yeah.
Right. Can we talk about how Rome just took out like 12 guards with like an AK?
Yes.
Just chilling.
Well, that was the moment that you realized he is invincible. 100%.
I was sure he was going to die.
Me too.
I was sure because every movie has a death now.
I said, Roman
we know from Fate of the Furious that he is a great shot.
Covered in shots that barely skim him. Like,
because he's caught in every direction, from the bottom around, from the top around, and
and then he survives the truck.
Then he gives that superhero speech.
Explosion.
Yeah.
Yep, he survives the explosion. He survives the car falling on him.
But then he does the worst thing ever, which is give a speech about how he's invincible. And you're like, oh, so he's gonna die this movie.
But he's
like
not.
He's got it, like that by the laws of movies.
Right, but it's not him and
Tyrese
blast through a satellite in space and survive when they
that
should
spaceship
have
has NOS, by the way. The spaceship has NOS.
Yes,
absolutely. I don't think Tyrese will ever die in these movies. I think he has it in his contract to not die because otherwise he won't be able to afford his alimony.
I mean, he can always die and come back. I mean, that's what everyone Cole's doing.
That's what everyone does.
I want to say two things. One is that Nerd Chronic called not just like the end of the movie, he called it verbatim. He was like, so at the end, he thought it was going to happen at the end of the franchise. They're going to be like, oh, there's an extra seat at the dinner table. Guess like who we're missing? Because I was like, no, they have to explain that Brian died off screen. Like they're going to have to say it. They're going to have to say it at some point. He's like, no, it's going to end with like them being like, there's an extra seat at the table. And then you see like the back of his head. Like he called it shot for shot the end of this movie. Secondly, like once you get into outer space, my God, like this movie, this franchise, it's just not even like, it doesn't even care what you think of it anymore. Like I love it so much because it does not give a shit like what you think like this movie should do. Like they clearly
wants him to come back. They want to work with them to bring him back to life in a similar way, but with better effects now than what happened in Furious 7.
And Brian is not dead. He is a committed
so weird to me.
Professional
babysitter.
Okay.
The easiest things for them to do is to make somebody a villain by killing him off screen. Like to be like, oh my God, they killed Brian. Oh my God, that guy's the real villain. Cypher's the real villain. She killed Brian off screen.
Yeah.
So easy. No, they ain't gonna do it.
But you just
They're
can't
not
kill
gonna do
Brian.
that.
You can't do
They're
it.
not going to do that. Yeah.
Brian's too
How many times
important.
are you gonna explain that he's watching the kids? And for some reason, his the sister is the one that they're going to put in the line of danger. When Brian's like a
All right, well,
trained.
here's the deal.
Jacob.
In the eighth one, it made sense. They both are just gone. They're out of there now.
Yeah.
But this one made sense specifically for them to be able to have Mia come back because,
Right,
as
for
you
the
said,
brother
it's her brother
storyline.
too.
Yeah, it's her brother.
There's
yeah.
There's no way. Just I know it makes sense because it needs to make sense. Just in the same way outer space makes sense. But like in the logical world of Dom, just like it makes no sense for him to like let his brother go without any like getting clarification. It makes no sense that he would allow his sister to come into like these, and she's now a great fighter. She can now do like karate and like arm
yeah.
He would never let. His
Yeah, they
sister
all
go in
learn that out of
situation,
nowhere.
and there's Brian.
Mia is a badass.
Yeah, Mia's a
Which, by the
badass,
way,
but like
why don't we go
Brian's
into this real quick?
She also
Yeah,
didn't do too much fighting. She was just smashing people in the head with stuff, to be honest.
With a spoon.
My
Right.
favorite
Ladle.
thing is
A ladle.
Shea Wiggum's nose is still so fucked up at this point
Yeah.
from being punched in the face. He looks like Owen Wilson.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
was
I was
going to
like,
bring that
damn.
up, but then like I was about to mention it, and then that's when you came on screen. When
Oh,
they
sorry,
had
sorry.
Shea Wiggum on as Stasiak, very briefly. No, it's no. I have the note still up. And they like that's not his nose and other things he makes. They
No,
did
it's
a
not.
great job with like the makeup effect of showing that his nose is broken from when it got
Yeah.
broken in Fast and Furious.
But
Twice.
it still looks like that shit was
Twice.
freshly broken like
Four.
yesterday. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's still
damn.
had, like scabbed up and stuff.
What's
So-
wrong
It's
with, like,
broken
your
twice.
healing?
It's broken in 4 and it's broken in whenever they go
6.
back and visit Raja 6. Yeah.
6.
But like, I'm gonna tell you something. Shea Wiggum's one of my favorite character actors of all time. It's
Mhm.
like him and the other guy from Boardwalk Empire. It's all from a Boardwalk Empire.
Walton
It's just him
Goggins.
and Michael. The
Michael
nerd
Shannon.
knows in the
Michael
comments.
Shannon.
No, not
Shannon.
Michael Shannon. The other one, the one from Shape of Water.
Michael Pitt.
And he's in,
No,
no.
that
the
is Michael
other-
Shannon.
No. The other one from Shape of Water who plays the Russian spy.
Michael
He's-
Stuhlbarg.
Michael Stuhlbarg. Those are like my 2 favorite character actors, and yet I did not recognize Shea Wiggum with that nose job. Like, and Eric was like, "Oh my god!" Linda Cronk was like, "Oh look who it is!" And I was like, "I can't." Owen Wilson. Like, they did such a good job. Best effect in the movie was that nose.
I mean,
Furious.
Yeah, his nose has been fucked up for like what now? 15 years, Owen Wilson.
Oh, he doesn't care. He's like, I'm not
I
touching
think
that
that's his
shit.
nose.
That's his
Yeah,
thing.
It's like
yeah.
Owen Wilson.
I don't
No,
know
he
that I've
broke it.
ever seen him without.
I
his
thought
nose.
that his nose got like extra fucked up when he had that incident where
actually
he tried to
broke it. He
drive
just not-
where he actually tried to his
Oh, maybe.
I
I
saw-
mean, his nose is fucked up in Bottle Rocket.
You know, he actually broke
well.
it. He just like, I just don't care to fix it. Like, that's
Oh,
my shit
okay.
now. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
kind of like Joaquin Phoenix and his cleft palate. Like he
you
just
know what
always
it
had
is.
it.
You know what I'm mixing it up and just touching on it and then moving on was I mixed it up because in the mid 2000s he was in Darjeeling Limited from Wes Anderson, and then he was going to be in Tropic Thunder, and then he was replaced with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
And
he
the
went through a
reason
tough
for that
period.
was he went through a very tough period, and he went through a tough period, the same kind of period that his character in Darjeeling Limited went through.
Yeah.
And his character in Darjeeling Limited's nose was broken as a result of that exact thing. So I
Oh,
kind of
you're
mixed
right.
them up. I just kind of
Oh,
I
you're
took
right.
I took fiction and fact and I kind of mixed them together.
That's
That's all.
I like that.
So
Sorry, I'm off screen finding some snacks.
Okay,
It's
Latrina,
alright.
your favorite stunt from the movie.
hey, you're part of this conversation.
Well, because obviously I gotta call out the Dominic Toretto spear out of nowhere to Jacob through the window, and the timing on
That
that
was
is
so
incredible.
great.
Yes.
Out of fucking nowhere, here comes Dominic Toretto spearing him through a window, and they have a big fight.
The coolest thing about that fight, by
Love
the way.
that whole sequence. And I gotta call out Han's intro to the film. Elite Sniper Han saving the day, coming to the rescue. That was fucking awesome, dope.
Hold on. He has
I
a
know that girl, by
massive
the way.
sniper, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like 40. He's like 40 feet away.
Doesn't need it, but it's
He
fucking
did
awesome.
not need that
Did
gun.
not need it.
Can I
He was
talk?
literally
Can
on
I
the corner.
talk a weird
Yes.
part of this movie that I love that I don't think anyone else is going to pick?
What?
That guy who played the diplomat's son. I was like
Otto?
sure I recognized him from something. I'm like that guy. Like that guy is like he looks like a messed up Billy Magnuson
Otto.
or something. Like
No, we talked to Otto.
Right.
We talked about Otto.
Oh, you guys talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked
but
about
I
him a
love
bunch.
that just sort of like the implication in Fast Five about like how they no longer need to show the car race. They just show up and then you see them driving away with the car that they won. You don't even need to see Charlize Theron do anything because she's like not going to be paid to be in that movie for that long. So you just see her like Hannibal lecture this guy for like 5
Oh, yeah.
minutes, like like 5 minutes of ostensible screen time. It's actually
Right.
2 seconds, and next thing you know, she's out of the cage, and it's like
She's
all
literally
good.
in a
She
cage
doesn't-
the whole movie.
It's the laziest
A
mind
force
games.
field jail is amazing.
They just imply that she like talked to him. You know?
And
Yeah,
I thought that
because
the
this
dictator
movie
son
is
was
a
going to make
series
a
of
thing.
scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, because they bring that up so many times, like, oh, this is probably going to be somebody big that we're going to find out. At least not yet, maybe. But I was like, well, they keep bringing up dictator son, your father this, your father that. I'm like, okay, so who the hell is it going to be? Never find out. So I'm
No.
like, oh, damn. So maybe
Also, like,
all later on in the road
Maybe
we'll
he'll
find out.
maybe he'll come in.
what
his
kind of
power.
diplomat has that kind of power? It's not like
He has
he's
a
a president.
space program, his own space program.
It's
Right.
they made
mean-
it sound like he's basically like
A
the son of
dictator.
Putin.
Like, yeah, Putin's son
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
They
right.
basically has him like the son of Putin, essentially.
German Putin, I guess, or like
Ba-
Swedish
Yeah,
Putin.
maybe. Yeah.
Well, in terms of evil dictators in the world right now, Putin's probably like the best one with who has that sort of financial backing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we had one for a while.
Yeah,
This is
but
true.
we have not.
Kim
I mean, not
Jong-un,
really.
too.
If you see him, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what was I about to say? In this idea of like you just question things and they don't happen. Like that's pretty much the whole movie, though. It's a series of scenes where something happens. You're like, wait, but what? And then they just move on. You're like, all right, well, I just have to accept it
Yeah.
at face value.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope it's not an issue of cutting room floor. If it is, I hope that there's like a Snyder cut. This is the kind of movies I could use a Snyder cut of. But I'm hoping
Oh,
they
yeah.
just like, save it for a later movie, and it was intentional that Kurt Russell was in this for 2 seconds. It's intentional that like Michael Rooker was only in it for a hot minute. Like they're gonna come back.
Eric Trump is much dumber than Otto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me though. Okay, so
He was Donald Trump
Completely.
Jr. maybe.
here's my favorite thing. You know the theory about why the timeline of the Fast and Furious movies works out so that Tokyo Drift technology exists in the future. You know,
Right.
2000 past the 2008 or whenever.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
even though it's antiquated technology by that point, and it's that in this reality, for some reason, they've created some sort of variance, and Japan has never gotten the technological foothold. America like swept by them. And so that's why, like, you know, they're using like old flip phones, even though it's like 2011 by the time Tokyo Drift happens chronologically in the film. So this actually tracks with why they're all like Back to the Futuring, like in the Lucas Black thing, like their technology, even though it's supposed to be like able to get them to space, looks like it's from the 80s. Like in their reality, Japan still has not caught up with the technological. Besides Tokyo drifting, they haven't gotten to like, you know, apples, like Apple
Does that
phones.
cross into the shoes though? Because I mean, they were selling old Jordans also in Tokyo
mean,
Drift. So
They were doing that, but like they have like flip phones and really old tech. The little Bow Wow selling, like he's selling like
but great live video feeds from those flip phones.
great
So-
Hulk
Right.
car.
Great.
Yeah.
So, by the way,
Also,
I-
Twinkie wearing the Air Jordan beanie.
Oh yeah.
I want to bring this up because I know in half an hour you have your own show that's starting.
Yes, I'm doing
and-
Pokemon.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up for a moment because I wanted to see if you don't have to think too hard about it because while we still got you here, is it possible to assign a Pokemon that you think that could be each of the main members of the
Yeah.
family?
Sure, give me a
Oh,
second.
that's so fucking awesome.
Let me get my book. Let me get my book.
I love that.
That's the best
Brian
question anyone's ever
is
asked.
Charizard.
Vin Diesel thinks that he's Machoke,
Not.
but
He's
a
Machamp, but
Blastoise.
he's definitely
Vin Diesel's a Blastoise.
Machamp is
He's such a Blastoise. He's like a chonky ass Blastoise. That's
That's a
him.
good one. That is good.
I'd say like Brian's like a Machamp. Let's see what I got here. You got all these like new gen ones. I have like most of the
Right.
like, my collection's grown so much by the way since you last saw me. So let's see what we got here.
We had you on when you were just starting to like chill Pokemon cards out.
Yeah,
And,
let's see. I feel like Roman might be a Snorlax. Like he's kind of like the silly one.
No,
of the group.
but he's
Or,
like too. I think he's too
hungry.
high energy. He's too
He's
high
hungry.
energy.
I
though,
think he'll be a Meowth. I think Rome would be like
Oh,
Meowth.
he might be a
yeah,
Meowth.
Oh,
yeah,
Meowth.
right.
He needs
Meowth
a
is
stupid
good.
Brooklyn accent though if he's
Yeah.
gonna be a Meowth.
Yeah,
That
he's
tracks.
Meowth for sure.
Let's see. I got some good ones here. Yeah, I think Brian's a Machamp. Like I could see that. A Machop and Machamp. He grows from a Machop into a Machamp over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did to Shea Wiggum's nose. We got that.
Mhm.
Who's the Pikachu of this universe?
I was trying to think of
would that-
Pikachu. I don't
would
think
that mean
there is a
that
Pikachu.
would that mean that Stasiak is a nose pass, which is
Yes. Oh my
literally a
god.
nose?
You know what? I hate doing this, but the new gen of Pokemon have these terrible abilities, like ridiculous abilities. Like their thing is terrible. And one of them, I think we actually have to give Roman to Morpeko, because look what his power is. It says famished. That's what his power
Eventually
is.
it was
Famished.
Famished.
He's hungry.
He hungry.
That is Rome.
That
That's
is
Rome.
perfect.
That
Yeah.
is funny.
I got this Arcanine that I
Ooh.
found in my car.
Ooh,
In my
nice.
trunk of
Ooh.
my
I think that might
car
be
for like 4
Paulina's
years.
favorite.
That could be Giselle. Not Giselle.
Oh, wait a minute. My wife just popped
yeah,
up in the
Giselle.
chat just because she heard me bring up Pokemon. Yep.
Yo, she watched my
likes
show at
this
8 p.m.
Paulina,
I'm
we're
doing
gonna watch
some
the
unboxing.
we're gonna watch your show. She's been unboxing.
I got a Hollow Seal too. I mean, what's up with that?
We're gonna be talking about the new Taco and Pokemon spot down the street from us.
Ooh.
That gave me 3 packs for free yesterday for helping them out on some Twitch stuff,
Nice.
and got me
That's pretty dope.
boom rainbow. One of the packs I did
So
rainbow
is Shaw
flapple.
a Hitmonchan
That's awesome.
or a Hitmonlee?
Ooh. Oh no, that's oh my god. Well, isn't one of them a girl? I was
One
not
of the
one of
Shaws?
them
You know,
was a girl.
Yeah.
you know,
Hitmonchan, right?
you know. Why don't we Hitmonchan, which is the punching one? That seems more like a Deckard Shaw, and then
Shaw.
and then maybe what is it?
Hitmonlee
Edie Shaw?
is
Yeah.
Han's,
No, wait. Hitmonchan is Han.
He's a punching one. Oh,
I mean, like I'm just saying, he's like one of those, and
He
then the Shaw
tries.
brothers are definitely like
Oh, gosh.
the twins. Like, aren't there twin ones? What are the twin ones?
are they
There's,
Doduo?
There's
is it
Doduo, right,
Or
with
are
the
they
2 heads.
Trio because they have Vanessa Kirby too?
Not Doduo.
Oh, that's right.
Fighting Pokemon
Wait, that's
for
right.
that.
There's 3 of them in that family. No, let me
Yeah.
think about this
Yeah.
for a second. Let me think about this for a
They need
second.
to, Shaws need to be fighting Pokemons.
Paulina.
Oh, you know what? You know what? We got Kadabra. We got Kadabra straight up for Cypher because she's just like pulling some psychic
Yeah.
energy moves on you, and
Wow.
you're like, what?
I
We
think
got
Paulina might
Ludacris
have
the
this right here.
Psyduck because he's all worried
The
about
Rock.
shit all the
The
time.
Rock is Reggie Rock. That's right. We got
Or you could be
Reggie
Onyx. Just a big
Ooh,
ass.
oh my god,
destructive
Onyx! Oh
force.
shit! Right, because
Yeah.
Onyx and Blastoise, I don't know what their powers are, like fighting power versus steel power,
they
but
hate
you
each
feel like
other.
maybe they can't win.
Is anybody
Yeah.
Rhydon? Anybody?
Rhydon? Yeah, that's Shea Wiggum's character with the messed up nose.
Oh, okay.
No nose pass, which is just literally a nose.
No,
a
you're
Pokemon
right.
that
I'm
is
not-
a
Maybe that's
nose.
Raja.
My
So I
Pokemon
got-
stop at 151.
I got
Okay, I don't know what
Onyx
you guys
right
are talking
here.
about after
He has
that.
Onyx,
Harden
yes, sir.
and Rock Throw.
Yep,
Okay.
that's
Oh.
Hobbs. So
Okay,
who
let
would
me
be
see what I
legendary Pokemon like Zapdos? and
Jesse is
all
Psyduck.
of them.
Yes, that's great.
Jesse
Yeah,
is
Jesse is
Psyduck.
Psyduck.
Jesse feels like Psyduck, but I feel like Jesse is actually more of what is it, a Cubone or a Marowak? And the reason for
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
that in the original game, the only Pokemon that we know of that actually died, canonically speaking, is a
Ooh.
Marowak or a Cubone.
Wait,
there.
I'm not that far in the
I
series.
think
Don't
of-
tell me.
Dude, it's
But
no,
I
it's
think
in a
of-
video. No, it's in a video game.
Okay.
I think
It's
of
a video-
Jesse
There's a video
right
game?
before he dies in the Fast and the Furious, and he's like freaking out, and that's big Psyduck energy.
Oh yeah,
right
that's
there.
big.
Oh, you know
It's
what?
huge Psyduck
He's about to do a
energy.
psychic
Charizard
blast
is
headache.
Deckard Shaw because he just started that freaking fire, and like Charmeleon, that's like one of the basic ass Pokemon, but like
Yeah.
he's integral, and then his brother can be like, I don't know, what Venusaur. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then Blastoise is Vin Diesel, so that's, and then Helen Mirren can be, who's like the mom?
Helen Man could be like Mew.
Mewtwo, because she's like the ultimate legendary.
Oh yeah,
True.
yeah.
You know what? I'm fine with Helen Mirren as Queenie Shaw being Mewtwo.
Or Nidoqueen.
Because I think that's
But
the
isn't
only
Mew the stronger
one.
one though? Like the most legendary one? Is it
Mhm.
Mew? Yeah,
It's harder to find Mew than Mewtwo. I got them both, but
yeah. I would
Um,
say
I
I would
think-
say
Mr.
she's
Nobody's
more
a
of a Mew.
trainer.
No, you know what?
Oh,
I think that you know what? I think that
Miss Nobody's Professor Oak.
oh shit,
Yo.
what's her name? I just blanked out on her. Ramsey is Mew because there was a whole quest in order to
Oh,
get
yeah.
Mew.
yeah.
And
You know what?
Ramsey was like the key to everything.
Are the Shaw brothers Team Rocket? Is that what that is?
Well, does Team Rocket ever like secretly turn good?
I don't know, but James is definitely
That's a
much
moment.
like
Kinda
the actor who plays
right.
the other brother. James is definitely
But see, there's only 2 of the Rockets, and there's 3 Shaws, so I don't know.
That's true, but like they could like no doesn't Rocket doesn't James have a whole family, like a whole rich family that we like find out about in the series?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, kind of like
wait a
the
minute.
Shaw brothers.
Who's the policewoman's name? Is it Officer Jenny? Is that her name?
Officer-
No one ever knows. No one ever found out. It's his baby mama. We don't know.
Because
no. In Pokemon.
Yes, because that's Elena.
Right, Elena.
Yes, Elena.
Nurse Joy, Officer Jenny.
Is Officer
Yeah, Officer Jenny. Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
Officer
Okay, cool.
Jenny. Can someone do some drawing of this, please? Can someone do some fan fiction drawings of this? Fast.
Yes.
Like, I need this because I buy like these. At this point, I'm just buying parody Pokemon. Like, I'm buying the Pokechonk, like the Chonky Zor things with like the
There
fake
are
Pikachu.
other teams outside of just Team Rocket, by the way.
Oh, I
And
know.
In the
new
show,
stuff is
there's
all
Jesse and
crazy.
James, but there's tons of different teams and people. So maybe the Shaw siblings are separate, but
Or like isn't like Mr. Nobody like the big guy in charge of Team Rocket? No, that would be Cypher with her Persian.
yeah,
Actually,
she's
you
a
guys-
Persian. Charlize Theron is absolutely a Persian.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
100%.
Especially in this movie with that haircut, she definitely looks like.
God, that poor. I
Look
feel
up.
like that all her budget must have just gone into
Yeah,
her agreeing
she
to have
comes
that
up-
haircut.
Oh, I do have a note about Cypher.
Yeah,
Cool
Giovanni,
earrings.
but doesn't
all right,
Giovanni,
I had a
like,
note.
have
Cool
a
earrings.
version?
Can I be honest? Who the fuck is
She did.
Giovanni? I have not. I guess
Giovanni-
apparently I got to that episode, but I just refuse to believe there's a. I have the gym challenge and gym hollows, and I keep being like, "Who's
Giovanni's
Giovanni?"
He's a Team Rocket
Giovanni's,
boss.
Yeah, he's the Team Rocket
Oh.
boss and the gym leader of Viridian.
Oh, reveal!
seventh-
Wait,
like the
gasp.
7th or
I did not know
8th
that because
gym or something.
I found out he's the gym leader. I didn't know that he's also the head of Team Rocket. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. I think that was supposed to be a spoiler. Oh no, because we didn't find
Whatever.
out that he was the head of Team
Oh.
Rocket. Oh
Uh-oh.
no,
Do you even Pokemon? She's starting, man.
I'm just starting. I'm just starting Pokemon.
Now I wanna
I
watch
got into it
Pokemon.
through the cards first, and now or Pokemon Go first, and now the
Yeah.
cards. I can't pronounce any of their names. I
Fuck
don't
it,
even
Pokemon and Fast and Furious crossover.
We're doing
Forget
it.
Jurassic Park.
Okay,
Forget
real quick,
Transformers.
for the
Pokemon.
sake of the show's structure, just want to throw it out.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, sure. Right. Sorry.
We already answered this a few movies ago. Is this a superhero franchise? Yes.
Yes.
This is the
It's
most
100%
superhero of
franchise.
all of them.
Dom
I
has
mean,
all of
if
his
you think you are
superhero
a
powers on
superhero
display.
and you went to outer space and you don't got hurt in outer space, and you find, even though you were sent to outer space by technologically left behind second, I guess in this world it's like a second world nation because they don't have our modern tech. They're just using rocket like propellers in Japan. For some reason that can blast you into outer space and you find then you a superhero, and you're eating like real food. You're eating snack food in outer space. That's a big giveaway
Tootsie
that
Rolls.
you're not normal.
So
Yeah,
Like,
whose
you
plane
will-
was that, by the way? Whose plane was that? Was that Sean's plane? Is that Sean and Earl? They just
No,
own
it was
the plane?
it was in the plane. It was a wait. Oh,
No, but
their
the
plane.
plane
Gotcha.
to launch
Yeah,
them. They just borrowed it because they're in the airbase. So they must just took
And
it.
that was my other question. What is their job? Twink said that he got him a job where they can create rocket cars.
What happened to
What is-
drifting?
What is the
happened to
nature
nice
of what is
cars?
the nature of that job? Is what I want to know.
I don't think they have jobs. I don't think
That's
they have
their
nice
way in.
cars anymore, and I don't think they drift.
No,
They
they're
don't.
out of
But
the-
Luke,
they're out of
Lucas
the drift
Black is
life.
another one who did not age well. Him and Bow Wow, both of them.
Yeah.
Just
Oh my god,
dear
not
everyone-
age well.
God.
Sean is
when
the drift
That
king,
man
though.
did
trailer
not
came
start
out-
well.
Yeah.
The man looks exactly how I'd
when the
imagine
trailer
he would
came
look.
out, everyone was like, "Is that Lucas Black in the trailer, or is that Tom Dagnino?"
Oh my god.
I
Oh
would
my
rather
God.
Tom Dagnino.
Oh my god. Maybe it's Lucas Black's dad that got them the jet. Because isn't he military?
Yes.
Oh my God, what-
He's Navy. Yeah.
He's Navy. He's the major.
Yeah.
But can we
Yeah.
talk about how
Or
disappointing
was.
the fight
I mean,
was
what?
between Dom and Jacob? That was a very disappointing and quick fight. Like,
Mhm.
extremely disappointing. Like I said,
Inside
the
that
coolest thing
apartment?
was like,
Dom and
yeah.
Jacob? Which one's
Yeah.
Jacob?
Yeah.
like
brother.
the
John
coolest
Cena?
part
John
was
Cena.
the spear
Oh.
through the window. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then the fight was over in like 2 seconds. Like, oh,
Well,
okay.
Dom also gets his head smashed through the header of a doorway, and it
And
just
feels nothing.
There were some
blows
good
just
things
blows
that
the wall
happened.
apart.
And-
There were
and-
some. I'm not a big action movie person, and the more that this franchise has become Looney Tunes, and I didn't like Hobbs and Shaw because I thought it was too loony, it was too goofy, like the tone was too goofy. But the more like absurd the sequences are, the more all in I am. Like the first couple
Oh, yeah.
movies, I like had a really hard time with because I don't like car crashes. Like I've been very traumatized by like car crashes, so like I didn't like it, all the metal crunching and all the realistic stuff. This movie, I was sitting there like, oh my god. oh my god, he's gonna land on the bomb. Oh my god, he didn't land on the bomb. Oh my god, like he's dying. Like, oh my god, he flew through the thing and he's got his head bashed in. And I was like, oh no, he's fine. And it made me so happy. Like, I wish the world worked that way.
He threw John Cena's head through the wall too, like a headlock. He just rammed it right through the shit and blew it up. I was like, oh my god.
Nerd Chronic is asking if you can find that Photoshop someone did if Lucas Black is done.
Yeah, I don't know where that photo is. Oh wait,
And
wait, that explains why Ben had to break ties with them last year. Just kidding. Sorry.
As far as people crashing and being fine too, when Dom catches the cable with his wheel and swings across the canyon, they smoke the side of that mountain so fucking hard.
That was the part.
So fucking hard.
No,
Not
that
only
was
did they
new.
go
And
across
then they
the thing,
roll 28 times.
not only that, but like you think,
that was
like, oh,
new.
that's crazy
That's what
that they
Letty
just
says.
did that. And then you're like, oh no, but then they're gonna die anyway because they car just they could have shown it like soaring over and landing on its thing. No, they showed it like fucking just
I like
eating
that better
shit
than
into
them
the
just
side of that
sticking
mountain.
the landing perfectly. Because if they were stuck that landing perfectly, I'm like, get the fuck out. So I like the crash a little more. But
The
I was
only
like,
reaction is Letty saying, well, that was new.
yeah, that was new.
Can I be honest? This franchise was sold to me as the cars at a certain point become extensions of the people.
Oh yeah,
What up, Matt?
completely.
Oh, hey, what
what
up?
up, Matt? Matt,
Just want to
Complete
add
attention.
to that crash. I love how they crashed literally front of the car first.
Front of the
Where
car.
the engine would,
It
where the engine
flipped.
would be, and it would normally just explode, but instead it just flips over. I was like, all right, cool.
Flip and
whatever.
roll.
And yet Jack's car exploded from the rear because they tampered with a little thing in the
And
oil
it hit
in
the
engine.
chain. It hit the chain fence. It didn't even hit the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
It
how did
blew
they
up
even
on
get
impact on
airborne?
the
It didn't
chain.
hit the slick. That was Hoyt from not Breaking Bad, from True
So
Blood.
so somebody actually broke that
Ooh,
down.
not
That is
Hoyt.
actually
Love it.
scientific. So his car did stall, and because of the change in speed, when you had a car going that speed hit it, it caused it to flip.
But it
Yeah, but
didn't
I'm
flip.
saying,
They
why
just
did the
hit a chain
fire
link
start in
fence
the
and
rear?
explode?
Because it hit that I don't. Oh no, they explained it with the air. If you get air in that hose, they explained that in with the flashback scene in jail.
yeah, but that's in the front of the car.
Yeah, if you've got a lean condition.
If that's
is
what
they
it's going to
call it.
do, maybe that's
and the
not how
brother
you tamper with
worked
the
on
car.
the hood of the car. He worked on the front of the car.
But he didn't want
Yeah,
the car to
why did the-
explode. He just wanted the game to be thrown, right? He just wanted to look like his car stalled out.
Yeah,
Like,
but what ends up happening is air ended up getting into the engine, causing lean condition and causing the fireball, just like they explained.
I'm 100% sure Michael Rooker's behind this because there's no way that people are as good as cars as Jack and his family. And he had his brother and he had his son tamper with the car and do it in a way that was like somehow created a giant massive fireball in the back of the car.
And
Hey,
we
guys,
already know
what is it?
Buddy is a
It's
narc.
like it's
Okay,
explained.
Buddy is a narc.
Hey,
We can't
Jacob
trust
is
him.
the lesser son.
physics
He's
don't
not
exist
Dom.
in this world except for when
Why
Ted
does he not?
says, as long
Rooker
as we
is
follow
Always
the
trust
laws
the
of
numbers.
physics.
Yeah.
So here's
Rooker
Numbers
is
don't lie.
what
sus.
do.
He
Here's what
just
we're gonna
raised
do
the
here.
kid. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
We're an hour and
And-
12 minutes in here. I want to be able to get through this here in case Drew has to hop off to start her show soon. I want to bring up the MVP. Who you think is the MVP of the film? Like, who do you think contributed the most? Who were you happiest to see? Who was like the one that you liked the most in the movie? Drew, we are going to start with you.
I mean,
Since you have
I'm
the
going to
time.
be straight up. I mean, Helen Mirren was so great. And you're right. I think it was Helen Mirren just because you're right. Like, Vin Diesel and her have so much sexual chemistry. I didn't realize it, but, like, that's who I believe Vin Diesel's with. And you believe it, and it's sexy. I want to see them as spies together. Like, that
He's
made me
having
so
an affair.
happy. Oh, man. Like, yeah, I think it's her and Shea Wiggum combined.
Interesting.
Combined MVPs. Love it.
Is
Uh,
Sean
No,
Dom's
no,
child?
If Braja had shown up, it might have been Braja.
You stupid.
Braga.
Braga.
Love that guy.
Matt.
Braga.
I know that you just popped in, but you shared your opinion everywhere on this so far. So on the MVP, who do you find to be the MVP of the movie?
Justin Lin.
All right,
Yeah.
Sure. I was gonna say Justin Lin as well as a joke, but like, yeah, I couldn't unsee the sexual chemistry. Yeah, none of us could. What character
Justin
would you
Lin was
say is
great.
probably?
It's hard because to me it's probably between Letty and Mia.
Mm.
Letty
Interesting.
probably has the
Always
strongest
Mia.
argument. Letty probably has the strongest argument because she's the one who basically called Dom on his shit on every given turn, because Dom was in this, well, Brian and Mia did this. We're not Brian and Mia. We're our own people. And she brought Mia into the fold without telling him. She ends up going to pull him from drowning without telling him. And
I forgot about the drowning. Jesus.
To immediately be dry after he pulls the ceiling down with him by two.
He hulked that shit down.
God, he must have killed so many people. They murdered so many people.
And then she dove into the water where there was
rocks and debris and everything.
Well, and there's poison air.
By the way, also then they're immediately dry. But that's.
I mean, we don't know how long this.
How long did they get
This could have been 6 hours later.
Right.
Yeah,
she lifted him out of the water.
I forgot
they went to outer space. Don't worry about it.
I know you say that, but like they immediately then get up and walk into the next room, which is the main room. So it's like they've been there the whole time. Like,
okay.
They didn't leave the room.
I don't mean to like keep sideraling it. I forgot for a second though. Is not Cypher? Is the Melisandre from Game of Thrones with Tej now? Are they?
No, she's still technically, as far as we know, playing the field between Tej and Rome.
I mean, because she's leading him on because she's hanging out in Tej's car. Like that's who she's with.
Can I just say,
Tej and Ramsay bully Rome a lot in this movie.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Not as much chemistry as Dame Helen Mirren and Vin Diesel, but yeah.
Can I just say, I think at the end of it, it's going to be revealed that she's gay.
I think so too. Oh, I had the same thought. I had the same thought because at this point, she should get off the pot. You know.
True, maybe, and love that she said that she can't drive,
or she's bi because there was at least a sexual connection tease when Tej beat the living shit out of someone in 7 when they were at the party and he's hacking the party and he's like, knock the guy out. And she's just like,
you know, if you don't love a man after he'd been to space, if you can't choose between because she's not into Roman, let's be honest, she's not even trying for her anymore. She thinks he's ridiculous. But if you don't love this man after Tej, after he's been to space, then nothing he's going to do is ever going to impress you. Just a fact.
I mean, he's one of the 2 top computer hackers on Earth.
And she's number 1.
Right. Yeah. She's number 1. He's number 2. Yeah.
They have similar interests.
This is weird. I forgot how he's a hacker.
Knight, I mean, so does he. Knight, who's your MVP?
I don't know. That's tough. I would have to say, I'd have to give it to Letty. I would.
I saw your whole thought process change when I saw it at night. I saw it.
You did.
And she raising that kid. That's not even her kid.
Right.
You did. And like I said, she literally spearheads this whole shit. It was she's responsible for a lot. She goes to get Han. She brings Dom into the mix. She saves him. She does so much in this film. You're absolutely right.
What's her line in the beginning? She's like, "That's not who we are. That's not who we are." And then she just straight up takes off. And she gives the cross to the kid that ain't even her kid.
She hated that she had that, they had to hide. They came up, we had to hide. That's not us. I was like, that's
Do you think do you think the kid knows that's not his mom? I don't think they pretend. I think she's pretty honest.
She says it.
Your mom right here. She's looking at you from heaven.
Yeah, she says it. Yeah.
Shit, I gotta say that mom was super chill.
When watching the scene, I'm like, this is absolutely just the scene in Dark Knight Rises where Bane
he picks him up over his head.
But if everyone there just did a bunch of bath salts first.
I had the same thought. It was kind of no spoilers, but watching Loki and being like, oh, this kind of reminds me of that Star Wars movie scene. This week's Loki. I had the same feeling watching this movie and being like, this is kind of what happened in The Dark Knight Rises. This is in the same pit and stuff.
Right.
They're in the hole.
Yes.
Where he can have crazy visions.
The tanks. I mean, the tanks were those Batwing tanks. Yeah.
Zach, who do you have and why is it Mia?
Wait.
Well, I mean, it's always Mia, but second MVP is, I think I'm going to go with Ramsay on this one. Ooh, Ramsay was the one that Mr. Nobody entrusted with the secret message. He knows she's the MVP, right? She's the one who can figure out how to get everything. She's got the biometric tracking. I'm assuming she's the one who adapted the magnets for all of the cars.
Right.
She's got it all figured out the whole way. Other than
she knew how to make magnets work one direction. It doesn't work to rip out your car engine. It just works in one direction. That doesn't just hack. That's That's breaking
And
the law.
she
I just
figured
kept
out how
thinking
to get
Jesse from
magnets
Breaking
to
Bad.
repel steel.
Right.
Going magnets, yo. Magnets,
Yeah.
bitches.
Shout out to Han blowing the
Magnets,
man up
bitch.
because of that, by the way.
Yeah.
With the magnet
Yeah,
grenade.
bitches, magnets.
Before I have to go,
I'm just trying to eat.
I want to change my answer. It's Roman. Roman's the MVP. Roman almost dies. Like, Roman figures out that they're in a
Like
movie.
50
Like,
times.
Roman's 1
Yeah.
second from Last Action heroing it and being like,
Yes.
oh shit, I'm in a
Last
film.
Action Hero.
Mhm.
Like, just gonna come out of the screen. That's the last movie. It's not going time travel. It's them coming out of the screen and like meeting Vin Diesel and like being like just
Man
going
got
through
shot
the screen.
50 times, got smashed by a truck,
He got truck smacked him after he ran out from
and he got
under
a
the
scrape.
phone. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
How
no,
is he
it
still
was
alive?
it was great that he absolutely just totally went like, dude, we're unbreakables.
Yeah.
He was so close. It's just saying it.
We're Brian
He's
Dunn.
so close to being like figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to jet you guys, but this has been really fun. I wish I could
Let's
stay on
do it
longer and
again,
talk
dude.
about. I really do wish I could stay on longer
Absolutely.
to talk about Fast and Furious
Yeah.
Nine.
F9, yes.
F9.
Nine.
F9
I just wanna-
the Fast Saga.
Right. And I just want to say, if
love
the
this
next one is
franchise.
not called FX, there is a lost
they-
cause.
Oh wow!
No, they came out and announced the titles last week. That is Fast
Wait.
and Furious 10 Part 1 or
One,
Fast
two.
10 Part 1 and Fast 10 Part 2. They're
It
not
needs to be
doing
Fast.
10 and 11. It's Part 1 and
Their
Part
Final
2.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's like Harry Potter.
No,
Or
damn it.
like-
I want FX.
Oh, what if they could be wizards? Magic.
Yeah.
Magic could come into play. They went to Edinburgh. That's the only reason to be in Edinburgh.
Yeah. I like the joke. I like the jokey title that people have said of "Fast 10 your seatbelts."
Oh,
That
That
that's
could be a tagline. That could be a tagline.
look. It's
Yeah.
Justin Lin directing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
he is.
Oh,
is directing
then
the
he
final
might do it.
film.
He might
And
just do
then,
Fast
wait,
and Furious.
did you even talk about how apparently it was
And then I want the
it
musical.
was teased today that Vin Diesel's developing a Cypher
Yeah.
spinoff?
Yeah, talk about that.
Guys, I have to run.
See
I
ya.
love you all.
Hey, if you ever need to talk
Alright.
Yu-Gi-Oh! OG, I'm good.
I do, before we move
And
on
I
to the
want
next
the musical
MVP,
too.
I do want to acknowledge the irony of picking a person who can't drive as the MVP of a Fast and
Yes.
Furious movie.
Yes.
But hey, that's the way it works sometimes.
She made
Which,
it work,
by the
though.
way,
She made it work.
I think that was a great thing
Yes.
because we had up to that point we had not seen her drive in the
At
previous
all.
couple films
Mhm.
when she'd been in there. So it's fun that someone who is so integral to a lot of things they have to do. That's a good twist because everyone else are like these incredible
always in the
car
passenger
drivers.
I
seat.
also liked how she's like, nobody drives in London, and she's like,
It's
justifying.
very
it's like, it's no
logical.
big deal. It's
It's very lots because beyond people from cities who never get their license or never get a car or drive because they don't have to get a
I mean, hey,
taxi.
when we
walk,
first were
subway.
introduced to her, she was on a bus.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she was
Locked
kind of
up.
she
Right,
was
she
locked
was
up in a
behind
bus,
some
but
gates.
she was taking a bus. So,
That's hilarious.
um,
Yeah. But good for her.
Listerina-
She rocked out.
who's your MVP?
All right, there's a very obvious choice in this film. It's very clear. No one has
Baby
hit on
B.
it yet.
Oh.
It is 100% Brian Toretto, who keeps Papa Vin glued to the world, his son, who brings it back. When are you coming home,
Take this
Daddy?
man off the screen.
And who gets who? Who says grace at the end? Right. No, honestly, I think it's my real MVP is Jack Toretto. He is an inspiration to obviously Dom and the whole family. That's where Dom gets all his Domisms, I guess you want to call them, from his
Right.
dad.
That's
That
my
would be
dad.
my-
That's
that-
my dad.
That would be the least valuable player because he tries to throw a race and die and ends up causing a huge rift in his family. That is the definition of least valuable.
Well,
It's where
well,
everyone learned. It all comes from Papa Jack.
I mean, like,
So one lesson out of this fucking decade spanning.
I have like literally
Fuck up.
again, you missed it, but I have like 4 pages of notes of just
Yeah, but
Jack
you
Toretto.
do
quotes.
know, but remember, half of these things that have occurred, they saved the world, and they might not have saved the world if they weren't put on the on the path that they were put on. That started
Exactly.
with Jack Toretto, unfortunately dying in that fiery.
And
car
at the
crash.
end, towards the end of the film, Dom realizes, hey, he was wrong. We did Jacob. He realized I was
Yep.
wrong.
Here's where I
Yeah.
should have came to you. Da-da-da-da.
That's
He
his
was.
life.
He was. And I love John Cena's attempt to just be dramatic so many times in this film. It was great. I was like, you keep going for it, buddy. It's just Vin Diesel got his one scream out of his acting. You know, he had it. It's like, I gave you a chance. And then, you know, we got to get one of those through every film.
I showed you mercy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That was a great quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adil, I showed you mercy.
Yeah. For me, it's hard because like Letty is a really good choice for MVP.
She is.
Because like you say that Brian Toretto keeps him grounded. I think that even though Letty's
Letty
right there
does.
for all the crazy shit, she also keeps him grounded. But I'll also throw out some MVP stuff to Han because Han came back and he immediately was able to jump back into the action with them. And by the way, he's the most incredible sniper
then
from
got his
30
ass
feet
kicked.
away ever. But he still was in it. Like he was able to fight right away with them. But also, yes, he had to fake his death, but he faked his death for a very good reason. He faked his death in order to keep this young woman safe because she was the key to unlocking such an incredible like weapon, like the weapon of mass destruction. He had to protect a woman who was a weapon of mass destruction. And so he kept her safe all along. And then when he finally had to come back out of the shadows, he still kept her safe. So I want to throw some love out for Han. I think it's
she's
great.
badass, by the way.
Also, by the way, maybe don't say she's the key while Jacob is in the room. All right, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think they already knew.
I think he already knew that, though.
Jacob didn't know that because he says, "I've been searching for her
I've
been searching for the key for years or whatever," and you just delivered it to me.
I think it's alluded to that he did know it. I'm
pretty sure it's
because
he knew it was a DNA thing.
He knew it was a DNA thing. He makes it sound
that's pretty good.
He just didn't know where the girl is actually. Then they pulled the girl out of hiding to where he's already. It makes it seem like he knew she was the key because he was the agent. Yeah,
because I mean he was working for nobody, so he would have.
He was the agent that turned on nobody. So you throw that into it. He's got to know to a certain degree.
It was just based on his phrasing. Yeah, based on his phrasing, though, he says, "I've been looking for the key for years." Not
we're talking about a Fast and Furious movie.
I'm taking it at face value. Just taking it at face value here.
But what you just said, he still could say that and still know who it is. Like I just been searching for the key for a minute because like she's not a person. Like that's the key. You're what I need. Like I've been searching for the key for a minute. So it still could be a thing where he knows, but just using that kind of phraseology for it. You know,
that's fair.
Yeah. Cool. So, anyways, at this point here, I think we'll probably try and wrap up a bit because we're hitting that hour and a half mark now.
What about favorite cars? Favorite cars?
Oh shit!
It's a Fast and Furious movie. We haven't even done favorite cars.
Shit, favorite car. All right, Zach, you're really excited. What's your favorite car?
Okay, it's Otto's Jaguar XESV Project 8. It's a $200,000 Jaguar. It's fucking incredible. It's the sickest Jaguar ever made.
Disagree.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
So literally, Jeff,
I don't think so.
Jeff, because I, as most people know, I'm a critic, and I got to see the movie early, and I called Jeff right away. Jeff was the first person I called. And he asked me, he's like, was Cypher wasted in this film? I said, you get less of her, but there's more to her in that. And
it's a setup.
She's pretty good dynamic.
For 10. Way more dynamic than we got to see her be in Fast 8.
Yeah.
Anyways, that, and then there's the Acura NSX that they drive that Tej and Rome are in when they
just
get
named
to
my car, you fucker.
Edinburgh. Oh, my bad. Okay. Well, all right.
You only get one.
I didn't say anything.
Well, yeah, he already said mine, but yeah, that Acura was sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, like when they hopped out of it, and I saw the Acura logo, I literally said, "The fuck."
Yeah.
Since when does an Acura look like a Lambo?
Well, the NSX. Right. It's been in a handful of the movies, a couple iterations of it throughout, but yes, Mia drives it actually at the end of. Fast and Furious, and at the beginning of Fast 5. But it's not as new. It's a black. No. It's a black NSX.
I thought she was driving a Honda at the end of Fast and Furious.
No, it's a black Acura NSX. I'm pretty sure.
Luckily, I can just go to Voodoo.
Yeah. By the way, just want to throw this out there. This was submitted to us just now.
Oh no!
This is
No!
Vin
No!
Diesel.
No!
Not
Get
the
that off the
Dom
screen.
lips.
Get that off the
Not the
screen now.
Dom lips.
Get it off the screen. What is that?
That is hilarious. The Dom lips. I can't. If we just stop acting like getting these characters that Vin Diesel could just beat the shit out of like this in these movies. I know it's your movie, but Jesus, stop it. Make it equal or something. But,
Yeah, I think overall, like, the car for me was probably oh shit, what was it? It was Roman's big truck in Montecinto. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah, his big
That
ass
truck
truck.
was pretty sick.
that was nice. That was a good demolish.
My speedometer only goes up to 70.
I'm going as fast as I can. Oh, he's watching the whole thing.
Yeah. So, but other than that, like, who else wants to share their favorite car? Serena?
I guess it would be Jacob's Mustang when we first meet him.
That was sexy.
The blue one. That one's pretty cool. I think he steals another Mustang in the streets of Edinburgh as well.
Yeah.
So it's between those two.
And I do want to put in the caveat. Obviously, Brian's Skyline GTR at the very end of the movie is the best car, but like we've said that car 20 times at this point.
This car right here.
Yes.
Love it. I'm going classic. I'm going Dom's Charge at the end.
Yeah.
Where he drives in the whole secret. That was a sexy version of that car. I was like, I love it. I want it. Give it to me now. But yeah, I'm going his Charger. It was amazing. And second runner up, Letty's car in that sequence.
It's a Honda.
Actually,
What?
the best cars in the movie are the ones that people use to break their fall. Because those, like, whoever designed those to not hurt a person.
There was a truck. There was Dom's car. And
there was a bunch of them.
Yeah, because he bounced off the armored truck and then was caught by me. Bounced off the armored truck, then bounced off of Han's car and caught by Mia. Then he takes the Han's car. They drive. Him and Dom go to take out the armored truck, and then he jumps out of the Han's car onto the back of Dom's car before the armored truck can squash them both.
Zach, it's a Honda.
That's I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's Honda.
I'm there's many other shots of it.
I'm just telling you, I just went to the end of Fast 5 and the beginning of Fast 5, and this is the end of Fast and Furious. It's a Honda. You can see.
Okay. It must be a like a foreign build of it or something. Because it's an NSX. It's an Acura NSX, but it's a manufactured by Honda. If that makes sense. You know how certain manufacturers have multiple makes underneath their umbrella? Okay, but it is an NSX. I'm positive it's an NSX.
All right.
Heard it.
So who hasn't shared theirs yet? Did everyone talk? Did everyone share? Knight, did you share
did.
yours?
Yep.
Okay. And Listerina, you did. I mean, I think that I'm pretty sure that's you just shared a link to the Acura NSX in the private chat here. I feel like we exhausted everything we can say about it right now, or have we exhausted everything we can say based off of 1 to 2 viewings?
I mean, I've got a lot of notes that I didn't touch on.
Oh yeah, I looked it up. They're
Let me
saying
start from the beginning. At the beginning, the crew is threatening a child. Okay, why are they yelling at Dom, telling him they're going to beat his ass? What's happening right there?
Just to say, they are saying it is a 2003 Acura NSX.
I see it.
Yeah, I was reading.
But it's a wiki. I'm just saying that's all. But it does have Han on it. So that's
I was on fastandfuriousfandom.com. That was the first thing that popped up.
Yeah,
what are the notes?
I mean, it's a pretty well known
considering
car,
we now have the most viewers.
It does say
manufacturer
manufacturer Honda make.
Right.
So
Acura is the luxury line.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Sorry, what was that, Jeff?
No, I was saying that. What are the notes do you have? Because we have the most viewers all at one time that we've had the whole stream. So why don't you rattle off a few more of your notes, considering you had 98?
Okay, just a little stream of consciousness here. When they have to drive 80 miles per hour, the enemy vehicles are still blowing up, even though they're driving the same speed as them. Don't know why that was happening. There's a great scene where Dom.
They were driving 75, 76 miles.
Oh, must have been. That must have been it.
Must have been.
There's a great spot where Dom is looking at the footage from the plane, and he does an epic enhance moment to get the cross to blow up, and it's just perfectly crisp resolution.
Yeah,
and I was like, I just put in all caps enhance.
Yeah, you gotta love that enhance, man.
Real quick, did you guys talk about the dig at the Rock in this movie?
Which one?
I must have missed it. Where was it?
I must have missed that.
So there's a dig at the Rock with Helen Mirren. Remember,
I told you. I remember it.
I told you about it. Yeah,
You're my favorite American. Yeah, I brought it up as saying we talked about it. Yeah, but I think I referenced because I mentioned that it was said on your show when we were on there, the idea of favorite American, and that includes the fact that there's one actually fucking fucking her daughter, and then and then Video Drew immediately was like, yeah, but how often do you really like people that fuck your daughter or something like that?
Yeah, but at the same time, the fact that Rock's not in this, we know it's a dig at the Rock as the audience.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I also had a great point about the guy that crashed into Jack Toretto and killed him, kind of. Yeah. When Jacob comes out and kind of confronts him, he's like, "Oh, aren't you the useless son?" And what the fuck, dude? Why are you bullying this child whose dad just died? What are you doing?
Yeah, he was a dick. I really wanted more of that wrench scene. I really did. I was disappointed.
Hey,
that was one hit
we've gotten
away.
From the Justin Lin films, we've gotten one extended cut or two extended cuts. So it wouldn't shock me if we got another.
Honestly, we hit a lot of my notes.
Yeah, I think we basically hit
6
everything.
and 5 have extended editions, Night. So the last two Justin Lin films before this have extended editions.
Yeah.
So
Which, by the way, one funny thing was with the pin, the after credit, the mid credit scene with Jason Statham coming in. He said how I think Justin Lin was talking about working with Jason Statham on creating this mid credit scene. And he said that when they made the scene, Jason Statham was like,
"Don't leave."
He's like, "Last time you made a mid-credit scene, you left. Are you going to leave again?"
And he's like, so I did just see a note that I want to get to because I know Pat is watching. See him in the chat. I have a note here that just says Tej is a fraud. Okay, so that comes from when they're in the spaceship and the magnets won't turn on, and Tej is like, "Oh no, the fuel line must have overpowered the something. Oh, how did I not think of that?" And I was like, "This fucking fraud." Ramsey would have done it. Ramsey would have known.
Such disrespect.
She wouldn't have gone up though.
Disrespect.
So I got to ask, who else picked these up on Prime Day? 4K box set.
I can't do it yet. I still can't do it because I know that there's at least the 9th one to come, and then there's the others. So I'm like, I may buy the 8th one, but then I'll know that there's more after that, and then it'll bug me.
For me, it was $30 off. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm like, eh. I'll buy it eventually or something.
I wanted my own. I've wanted my own set of them for a while because we share a set between my family, and I'm like, oh, it's $30 off. I gotta swoop in.
So does that mean it was $50 or something?
Yeah, 40 and 45 extra tax. This normally goes for 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, also
we definitely brought up him in the car with the landmine and everything. It was glossed over because we were just listing all the various ways that he almost died.
Guys,
we need to mention every individual one.
Right when Dom is giving Jacob the keys to his car, this is following him jumping out of that truck, launching it at the jet.
Pose.
Hold on. He also slides and rolls across concrete, which I've done before, unfortunately. It fucks you up good. He didn't have a scratch on him. Not a single scratch.
Zach, are you forgetting his body absorbs bullets? So.
Yes. I'm just saying, more evidence that he's a superhero. Just putting it out
Did anybody think Cypher bit it on that moment. I was like, oh, they fucking killed her, and it's just so fast.
Yeah, and then
I kind of got
she's
mad a
just
little
she's
bit.
in a drone. Yeah.
I kind of got mad at first. I was like, fuck, they just killed her just like that? Oh, no shit cut, and that was it. And then they set the drone. I was like, okay, I'm happy. We're good.
Yeah, that would have been a really weird way to just have her suddenly show up and then die like that. But no, he definitely like not only did he skid and like roll over like that into a hero pose, like a straight up,
dude.
like
Fucking
like
like
arm out,
Yeah.
Everything, yeah. Yeah.
So
If this was the film out of all of them that literally felt like a video game or like a Universal ride. It literally felt like that.
From my
Especially the
understanding,
end.
it's way better than the actual Universal ride.
Right. And this is the only one that felt a little different because Chris Morgan didn't write this one, so it did feel a little different from the other ones.
But it was kind of welcome.
But
not gonna lie, it was kind of welcome.
Kind of welcomed.
To have someone else. Justin Lin was
Justin
a
Lin
co-writer
did
on
too,
it himself. It used to be Chris Morgan. I mean, like I like what Chris Morgan was doing. Sometimes you get a fresh voice. Like I am just gonna have to get used to the fact that Derek Kolstad is not going to be a writer on John Wick 4. So I mean
keep in mind. I remember when Michelle Rodriguez called out Chris Morgan on fucking Twitter back when Hobbs and Shaw was coming out.
Yeah.
She call him out.
That's also why Mia's in this and not Brian.
Yeah. She basically called him out for a lot of people say
showing no love for women.
Showing no love for women. Two, some people said that was her way of being on Vin's side and calling out The Rock because of course Chris Morgan defected and chose to write Hobbs and Shaw. And it's just like honestly, especially after 8, it's nice to get because 3, 4, 5, 6 the story has always been like the overarching story, even part of 7 was designed by Justin Lin. He's the one who pitched this entire series to where we have it now, -8 to Universal.
Yeah, I mean Chris Morgan is still working with Vin Diesel and Neil Moritz on the Netflix show, which we briefly entertained the idea of, do we want to do episodes on that? And we're like,
I've never seen the show. I don't.
Yeah, most of us, if not all of us, haven't. So we were like,
not really interested.
We
Apparently
don't need to see
bad.
no James Bond Jr. bullshit.
But
I know that Paul Scheer is going to show up in an upcoming season, but that's about it. Like that's the only thing that would interest me.
Me too.
We're getting a Cypher movie tease. We're getting a Dom movie tease. Like,
I can't wait for the How Did This Get Made podcast to discuss this
episode.
movie.
Yeah,
So,
it should be coming up soon.
Yeah, it should be. They normally
do them
a
pretty
week or two
quickly.
after
Yeah.
they
So-
watch it. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna lie. The actor who played the young Dom thoroughly enjoyed him.
He was a solid choice.
He might be a better actor than Vin Diesel.
I mean, it's not hard to do.
Whoa.
But
I will stop you, and that's my promise.
I don't know. I feel like that guy. I don't know if that guy could pull off Babylon AD.
hey,
I completely
real
forgot
quick,
about that film. Holy hell!
real quick. He definitely did a better job than the fucking teenage Momoa in Aquaman. Or yikes!
Yeah, that was god awful. Man, they
I
killed
don't know if I
her.
remember that.
I don't
They
remember.
had to
By
leave?
the way,
like, oh my
just want to throw it
God.
out there. Very glad though to see that they just cast younger actors and said fuck it, as opposed to did de-aging.
Yeah, when they had the young crew, I was literally messy going, ouch.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier. I was like, I love the fact that they did that. I was like, oh my god, it's all of them fucking young. And Hector at the
But no.
beginning, it was amazing.
And Vince, but no,
Yeah.
I honestly, if Vin is serious about that young,
Young Dom.
the young, thank you. I was saying young Vin in my head. I'm like, it's not Vin. Don't brain fart this. No, the young Dom movie. I would be interested because I think it'd be interesting to see what got them into that boosting of the DVD players and the CD players. And you,
obviously they were boosting VHS players, but then new technology came out.
Yeah. But then you end it with that first day. We see Paul
Time frame. He got out of jail and
Yeah.
he immediately decided it was like, laser discs. That's what I'm going to take.
Yeah. There's also the reveal in this movie that Mia is also a criminal.
What'd you say? Zach, what'd you say?
Oh, I said there was also the reveal in this movie that Mia is also a criminal.
Yeah, because she hacked into the fucking police files.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody was like, huh?
Everyone's a fucking hacker out of nowhere, apparently. Just hacking.
But
I think I think she broke in, like physically broke in.
Yeah, she broke in.
Yeah.
But no, if they want to do that movie, do we even know how long he was in jail for?
I think they said like
2 years.
2 or 3
Maybe
years.
2
or something.
years.
I did 2
2
years.
years in
and-
Lompoc. I'll die before I go
2
back.
I did 2 years.
So
Duh.
realistically, you have a nice little 10-year story gap you can tell about young Dom.
Mhm.
I'm down to watch it.
Hey, another throwback. Jacob, after he wins the race, he puts his arms up the same way Dom did
Yep.
after he wins the race
Yeah.
in Fast and Furious. Jacob was a fucking king out there, dude.
He was.
Yeah.
And then Big Brother
Until
showed up.
Dom came up, he
Yeah.
turned, he just shriveled. He was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, you saw his
Also,
body
real
language like, Dom, when did you get back?
That's right.
Yeah, I also
I know what you
how
did.
much really nobody knew when he was getting out of prison. Like no one knew.
Yeah,
like
right.
no,
He just showed
no
up.
one was there to meet him. He just like got
Yeah,
out of
that-
prison.
Sister, his
no one,
girlfriend, his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like not even fucking Letty.
Yeah.
No one. No one.
Nobody knew. Just surprised. Dom.
Just like Rocky couldn't get a single fucking
Yeah,
endorsement.
I was about to be
after-
like, no one. Nike. Nothing. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I think that'll probably wrap it up here. We went a little long this time, and I think that it was worth it.
Yes.
I'm very glad that Video Drew was able to make time to stop by before going on to do her Pokemon show.
Pokemon.
I think that was a fun diversion discussing who's who. And look, man, when we we got the Dom
Dude,
Stoys
stop.
here,
Please stop.
the Blastom, the
Dom
Blastetto.
Stories.
So
Blastetto. Ha.
yeah, I think that I had a great time with this conversation. I love when we have this show. I'm gonna miss this version of it, and you know we'll start planning
It
on the
comes
next
back
one.
in about 2 years.
Yeah, I
Right.
know. We'll do other franchises in the meantime, but until then, what we're gonna do is we're going to see Matt. Where can people find you?
On the What Real Entertainment Network. You can find me over there for all your Schmoe movie review and just movie news needs, along with all of our other shows hosted by the likes of Chris Anthony Lopez, Nick Mulbach, Connor Breedlove, and Taylor Cleek. So,
Yeah.
All right, cool. And Knight, what about you?
You guys can find me here on YouTube, Night Entertainment, or you can find me on all social media at John Knight _. Be sure to catch my weekly show, The Film Cave, every Tuesday live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Very cool. And now Zach, where can people find you?
You can find me occasionally on the Montyverse channel doing views from the Montyverse with my good
Very
buddy
cool.
Pat and sometimes John Lestrina. You can catch me maybe on this channel with the next iteration of the family show.
that's all.
And other than that, I don't exist. So
Yeah,
that's that.
absolutely.
I do have a question for
He's
you,
like a
Zach.
ghost.
So I
Mhm.
got the Jesus aura around you.
You had the opportunity to see Fast and Furious 7 for free before this came out.
You're
Oh my.
cutting out like crazy,
Oh,
man.
my.
Yeah,
You're-
he's turning into a cyborg.
Okay.
Oh,
You
he's
had
back.
you had the opportunity to go see Furious 7 for free in theaters before this film came out. Did you take advantage of it?
No, I have not been able to do much of anything lately because I work a lot and it's rough. But I did make time to see this one a couple times.
I'm sad. That was my hope for you, is that you got to see that in theaters before.
I know. I wish I would have too.
So I do think it's very important. We're going to briefly retire this guy to here, only because it's very important that you also check out the Shaw Trio.
Oh my god.
Oh no, the Shaw Trio.
Hey, there you go, Owen, on top. There you go.
He is the best.
There you go.
Owen Shaw, the serial killer.
Now, yeah. So boom.
That's funny.
This, where can people find you?
I will always be right here.
Close.
Always.
All right. Well, that's a good talk there. I mean, Zach actually plugged your appearances on Montyverse for you, so I guess you didn't have to say anything.
Exactly. Yeah, we were being economical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have had a lot of fun with this show. I cannot wait for it to come back again in another version. Will be very exciting when it does. But I think that this was great when we had it. And it's weird. I was never the biggest fan of Fast and Furious, and then you guys were also quoting Fast and Furious all the time. And then you made me love the series so much. Like, man, look at it. It's in my heart.
Real quick, I think I'm going to be honest. I think if it weren't for this show, Jeff would have straight up hated this movie.
It's possible. You got to embrace the
I
insanity.
think I would have still
Jeff
enjoyed
is
it.
an asshole.
Here's the thing, I
when it
like
comes
the
to
movies when I watched them. I just didn't have the same sort of love for them that I do now, if that makes sense. I mean, I might not have liked it as much, perhaps, if I didn't become such a fan of the series. But I don't know if you could say that I would have hated the film. I think that the film is absolutely bizarre. I think it is absurd. Absurd is probably the best way to describe it. Things just happen and they're not explained, and you're just supposed to be like, cool, thumbs up, let's keep going.
And real quick,
so
Kelly in the chat, this is actually Ferris's fault. This show is the genesis of Ferris in
100%
Schmoe Me the Money
Ferris
chat.
couldn't be here.
My hands are clean.
Yeah. Because Ferris absolutely had he saw us cursing in our show, and he's like, I thought this was a family show. And I said, it's not a family show. And then in my mind, I was like, but what if we did have
The
a family show?
Yes.
So that was
Ferris
a dumb
made
idea,
this
and it's
happen.
been a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And it's been great doing this. So thank you everyone for being a part of this. Hopefully some of you might want to be a part of the next iteration when we do it. And some of us, maybe you do, who knows? It'll be great when we go on. I do believe that the next iteration we will do will be of the Step Up franchise. It will be Family Show Presents Step Up.
Hell
So 100%, just like Han is alive, 100%.
Actually, wait, I might jump in for Step Up 3 and 4 for that one. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, we'll see about
All
that.
right.
So,
You want an intro?
thank you all for coming. Thank you
Yes,
all for
please.
coming. And yeah.